So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Temari, Terumi and Kurenai. So let's start the series. Naruto Uzumaki Genin of Konoha and now student of Jiraiya has just left the village for his 3-year training trip with his brand new sensei Jiraiya the Toad Sage. While in most cases he would screaming about getting Sasuke back from Orochimaru or talking about his crush Sakura, but Naruto finds himself thinking about what Jiraiya had told him when he was in the hospital. Flashback. Naruto has finally been left alone after Tsunade and Shizune had finished healing his injuries and has finished talking to Sakura. "You're an idiot Naruto," said Kyuubi in a deadpan tone. Naruto then lets out a sigh of annoyance. Kyuubi then growls at Naruto from his mindscape, "Don't you fucking sigh at me you pathetic brat," roared Kyuubi in his usual angry tone. Naruto rolls his eyes at the bijou. "What do you want, fox?" "I'm tired," sneered Naruto in exhaustion. Usually in a few hours or say he would be ready to go, but after the long fights with Kimamoto, Taiyuya, and Sasuke, Naruto finds himself tired. Kyuubi growls at his jailer in annoyance. The large bijou sometimes wondered what he'd do to be cursed with an idiotic shinobi like Naruto. "I don't care if you are near death, brat. You will fucking listen to me, you ungrateful sack of meat," roared Kyuubi. Naruto rolled his eyes at the loud voice. Being the Kyuubi no Christian. "Fine, what do you want?" asked Naruto. "You're an idiot," said Kyuubi, causing Naruto to gain a sweat drop on the side of his head. "You purposely allowed yourself in a situation where you almost die, and for what? For some arrogant brat and that annoying teammate, of course," yelled Kyuubi. The fox then cuts off the link. The fox sits in his cage growling in annoyance. Jiraiya then walks in the room with a serious face, which had shocked Naruto since the only time he's ever seen Jiraiya serious is when he saw Itachi and Kisame and when he encountered Orochimaru for the second time. "Hey Naruto, how you feeling?" asked Jiraiya in a solemn expression. Naruto gives Jiraiya a wide smirk. "I'm feeling good Dadabayo," yelled Naruto. Jiraiya nods his head. He then stands up and walks over to Naruto and taps Naruto's arm. He then releases a scream of pain. He then releases a sigh. "Naruto, you overused your chakra," said Jiraiya looking at the blonde Uzumaki. Naruto then gains a confused expression. "Huh? What are you talking about, Rasengan?" asked Naruto, who has a deadpan expression and has an expression of lost. Jiraiya then runs his hands through his long white hair. "What I mean is that you pushed your body to its absolute limits. While training this might be good, but in the heat of the enemy it can become fatal. Naruto, you're even lucky to be alive," said Jiraiya as he sits across from the Genin. "Huh, why wouldn't I be alive? I never give up Dadabayo," declared Naruto. "You're lucky to be alive because that last jutsu and using Kyuubi chakra when you barely had any chakra left could have ended your ninja kara permanently," said Jiraiya, which had shocked Naruto beyond belief. The knucklehead shinobi couldn't believe it. He could have died, but the hard-headed part of him was telling he'll never give up until he brings Sasuke back and becomes the Hokage. "While I came here to tell you the dangers of overusing your chakra, I wanted to talk to you Naruto," said Jiraiya in a tone that held no joking. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Jiraiya. "What do you want to talk about, Rasengan?" asked Naruto in curiosity. While he had his face wrapped in bandages, Jiraiya still knew the bandage. Genin had raised his eyebrow at him. "I want to talk about giving up that foolish promise. Now, before you start yelling, hear me out?" asked Jiraiya. He watches as Naruto is about to say something but then closes his mouth. "I know of your ninja way to never break a promise, but you are making same mistake Sabutobi-sensei and myself made while concerning Orochimaru. But Naruto, you should know Orochimaru wasn't the cruel, cold, and evil shinobi. He was once like me and you. He grew up with no family and back then I could actually call him my best friend, but even he started experimenting on people. I wanted to believe the person I once saw still my friend, but over the years I knew the person I knew was no longer there. And because of my most regrets do my feelings, thousands of innocent have died. I just don't want you to make the same mistake as me. And Naruto, we leave in 7 days, so do what you need to do," said Jiraiya. He then walks to the window and exits out the window, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. Naruto just sat in silence, but after 2 minutes he gains a expression that's a cross between conviction and confidence. "I don't care what that old pervert says. I'll bring Sasuke team back and show him, or my name isn't Naruto Uzumaki Dadabayo," yelled Naruto with his trademark idiotic grin. Flashback over. Naruto glances at his sensei then glances back at the road. I don't care what arrow Sanin, I will bring Sasuke team back, I always keep my promises, thought Naruto. He then glances back at Jiraiya and squints his eyes at the white-haired sage. Arrow Sanin, where are we going? Can you teach me a new jutsu? I want to spit acid out of my mouth. No wait, I want shot lava out of my eyes, yelled Naruto. Jiraiya grins at Naruto excitement. How about no and no, besides I'm not teaching you anything until you master the Rasengan, said Jiraiya in a tone that gave no room for an argument. Naruto then lets out a loud whine. But I have learned the jutsu, and where are we going? Asked Naruto with a pout. Jiraiya scoffed at Naruto, not in an arrogant manner but in a joking manner. Naruto, you still have to use a clone to create the Rasengan. Until you can truly create the Rasengan with one hand, then we can start talking about what's next to teach you Gaki, said Jiraiya. Naruto glares at Jiraiya with a pout. No fair. Hey, wait a minute. You never said where we are going, Arrow Sanin, exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya just rolled his eyes at Naruto's impatientness. I heard you the first time, Naruto, I just choose not to listen to you, and will stop calling me Arrow Sanin, it's embarrassing, whined Jiraiya. Naruto crosses his arms. Never. Unless you stop writing those perverted books, said Naruto in a defiance tone. Jiraiya glares down at Jiraiya with a smirk. Never. Your tiny brain can't concept the wonders of each of my masterpieces, yelled Jiraiya with a full-blown grin. He then loses the grin and gains a serious expression. And we are going to Tsunade. That is the first stop we need to take. I guess you can say it's like a side mission, ordered by Tsunade, said Jiraiya. He turns to Naruto, who has a million-watt smile. Naruto then begins to bounce up and down like a child on a sugar rush. We're going to Tsunade, that's awesome. I can see Gaara. Come on, Arrow Sanin, we're wasting daylight, yelled Naruto as he begins to start running. Then turns to Jiraiya with a nervous expression. Where's Tsunade again? Asked Naruto, who has a large sweat drop on the side of his head. Jiraiya facepalms at Naruto's rash excitement. Okay, note to self, get the rashness and his running into battle without thinking out of his head. The brat will last longer in the world, thought Jiraiya. Naruto, let me lead the way, said Jiraiya as he walks past Naruto, who quickly follows right behind him. So, why are we going there? Asked Naruto in a curious tone. While he was happy he gets to see his fellow Jinchuriki, he was also curious. Why are they going there? I guess you can say we are going there for a political mission, but also this contains about your future training you will have, said Jiraiya in a serious tone. Naruto gazes at Jiraiya's expression, wondering what the perverted sage is thinking about, but he then shrugs his shoulders. Probably something perverted, no doubt, thought Naruto as he places his hands behind his head. But Naruto couldn't be any more tongue. He was. Flashback. Inside the Hokage office you would usually see Tsunade going through mountains of papers, drinking various of bottles of sake, or taking naps, but not today. Tsunade can be seen staring at Jiraiya with a serious expression, who's sitting across from her. Jiraiya, I must know what you will be doing on this training trip? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya lets out a sigh. Originally I was planning on having Naruto complete the Rasengan, and the shadow clone technique, Kage no Bunshin, working on his taijutsu, and focusing on him controlling Kyuubi's chakra, but that isn't going to work, so I'll have to take another approach, said Jiraiya as he grabs a notebook and start writing in it. But it isn't the notebook she's familiar with. Tsunade raised her eyebrow. What do you mean a different approach? Asked Tsunade, narrowing her hazel eyes at Jiraiya. Jiraiya then gives her an all-knowing look. Tsunade, are you really asking me this question? You've seen how he fights, his taijutsu is piss poor, the only ninjutsu he knows is Kage no Jutsu, sexy clone technique, Oiroku no Jutsu, summoning technique, Kuchio summoning, and Rasengan. Naruto hasn't even learned all the chakra exercises, and the boy probably doesn't even know he has a secret talent for Fuinjutsu or what chakra papers are. Tsunade, you can't deny that he has been trained poorly, said Jiraiya. Tsunade lets out a tired sigh. Even though Naruto isn't there physically, it seems like just talking about the knucklehead shinobi is giving the Senju Kage a headache. Agreed, these holes in Naruto should have been corrected months ago. I will personally look into it. I can't have someone like Naruto being killed on the next high-class mission while his team was able to complete the wave, his fight against Gaara. And his mission with the protection of Princess Yuki Fujikaze the next time he won't be lucky, said Tsunade as she massages the temple of her forehead. You know this is all Kakashi's fault, right? Stated Jiraiya. Tsunade then glares at Jiraiya. Jiraiya, what are you talking about? How is this Kakashi's fault? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya then begins to tap the giant scroll that's placed next to him. Come on Tsunade, it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Kakashi openly favored Sasuke over Naruto and the pink-haired girl. You and me know how much Kakashi would try to repay Obito even if he had to ignore Jiraiya Sensei's son, and we both know that Minato never favored Obito, Rin, or Kakashi, said Jiraiya. Tsunade leans back in the chair letting out a sigh. Alright Jiraiya, you're right about Kakashi. It's pretty obvious that he shouldn't favor one student over another. It could cause problems, but it's already too late for that, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head in agreement. If only Minato or his teammates could see him now, thought Jiraiya. He then turns to Tsunade and glances down at her breast. Tsunade, what are you going to do about the pink-haired one? She's obviously incredibly weak even for Genin standards. Not to forget she's hopelessly obsessed with Sasuke and has her own fangirl delusion making her believe she's in love with him and having this false image of Sasuke, stated Jiraiya. Tsunade then grabs a bottle of sake and starts drinking from the bottle. Honestly, I'm not sure I was originally thinking about, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, she has good chakra control, but her obsession with Sasuke Uchiha would present some troubles, said Tsunade. Jiraiya then grins at Tsunade. What the hell are you grinning for, you old pervert? Growled Tsunade. Jiraiya just shrugged his shoulders. Oh, nothing, just thought you could hear a suggestion I have in mind, said Jiraiya. Tsunade glares at Jiraiya. What kind of suggestion? Asked Tsunade. Naruto just waved her off nonchalantly. Oh, nothing, just wondering, instead of teaching that Sakura girl you train Ino Yamanaka? Asked Jiraiya. Tsunade eyes open with a glare. Would that be smart move? I mean, they are friends, said Tsunade. Jiraiya just waved her off. Tsunade, you and me no friend has nothing to do with it. After if that was the case, Orochimaru would have been the Yondaime Hokage and not my former student Minato. While her taijutsu is poor, but that's not really surprising since her clan focus on their mind jutsus, but other than that she's quite intelligent, more level-headed, and is better with coming up with plans on the fly. Also, her chakra control is better, good probably thanks to her dad and Asuma. Besides, you know I'm right, grinned Jiraiya. Tsunade lets out a groan at the fact that Ino would be a better candidate than Sakura. Alright you win, you damn pervert. That Ino girl would make a better student. Also with her clan jutsu she'll be able to do some true ground-breaking techniques. But back to Naruto, what will you be doing? You, I care about his family but also as an asset, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head. True, but also he probably is the last remaining family you got. After all, both the Uzumaki and Senju are cousins, so in a way you are the only family he probably has. But we are getting off track. As I was saying, I want to find out what his nature chakra first, then I'll start teaching him the true power of the Kage no Bunshin. I believe with the full mastery of the clones he cowls not only successfully learn the Rasengan but also go into the next type of Minato's jutsu. And I want to teach him the Hiraition no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu. I also want him to learn this, said Jiraiya, pulling out a medium-sized red scroll that has the word toxic in kanji. Tsunade narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. I have some questions that needs to be answered, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head. That's fair, said Jiraiya. Tsunade nods her head at her fellow sage. Alright, my first question is, what is the next step in the Rasengan? Miv's second question is, are you sure that's a smart thing of having Naruto learn the Hiraition? And my third question is, what's in that scroll? Asked Tsunade in suspicion as she glares at Jiraiya. Jiraiya continues to grin at Tsunade. Well, Tsunadeheim, the next step in the Rasengan is to add your own element into the jutsu, but as you know Minato died before he can complete the Rasengan, and as for me, I haven't been able to complete the jutsu. While there was that one, I used the Rasengan, then fired a fire release jutsu and created fire release, Great Flame Spiraling Sphere, Katan, Goen Rasengan, but the way I did was incomplete. But to your second question, yes, Naruto should learn the Hiraition. After all, it's his birthright. If not me, then who? Kakashi. The man knew the Rasengan but didn't bother teaching it to him or how to truly use the Kage no Bunshin. And for your last question, my spy acting got this. I don't how, but he did, said Jiraiya as he rubs the back of his head. Tsunade then glares daggers at Jiraiya. What's in it? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya nonchalantly waves his hand at Tsunade. I think it's better if I show you, said Jiraiya. He unsealed the scroll. Another smaller scroll puffs in existence and a Kusarigama. Tsunade widens her eyes in shock as she gazes on the Kusarigama. Is that? Asked Tsunade, pointing at the Kusarigama. Jiraiya, who now has a solemn expression, nods his head. Yep, the weapon of Hanzo. You know it still has his poison on it, right? Said Jiraiya. But how? Asked Tsunade, who's stunned. Jiraiya shrugged his shoulders like said early. I'm not sure how, said Jiraiya. Tsunade then glances at the scroll. And the scroll? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya lets out a chuckle. Believe it or not, inside this scroll is Hanzo's taijutsu, ninjutsu, kyakujutsu, gunpowder techniques, and Kusarigama jutsu, chain sickle technique. No doubt he probably accepted someone to end his life, and he took extra steps into maintaining that his teachings don't die out with him, said Jiraiya. Tsunade nods her head in agreement. Could you believe it that one day Hanzo will be helping Konoha? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya grins back at Tsunade. Hello, no, but this will help advance in Naruto's training, but I'll have to excuse myself. I need to do some research, smirked Jiraiya in a perverted manner. Tsunade gains a tick mark on the side of her head before she can strangle or punch the toad sage. He quickly shunships out of the room. Damn that fucking pervert. Flashback over. Both Naruto and Jiraiya finds themselves at the gates of Tsunagakure, also known as the village hidden by sand. Jiraiya lets out a groaning sigh. There's no way I'll be able to do any research, groaned Jiraiya with his shoulders slumped. Naruto, who's sweating due to his heavy and baggy jumpsuit, glares at Jiraiya. Research? Who cares about that crap? I'm dying here, yelled Naruto. You fool. You simply don't understand, and I have you know my loyal fans care. And you're hot because of that god-awful jumpsuit, and Suna is a desert Yubaka, yelled Jiraiya, slapping Naruto on the back of his head. Naruto lets out a groan. But it's so hot, whined Naruto. Jiraiya just waved Naruto off. You'll get used to it, said Jiraiya as the two shinobi continue to walk to the gate. They two Suna Jounin. One of the Jounin is dressed in a puppeteer clothing, while next to him is Baki, who is a very tall man. He has two distinctive, red markings on the right side of his face, the only visible part of his head, with the rest being covered by his turban-like headgear and by a sheet hanging from it on the left side of his face. He dons the standard attire of a Sunanin, complete with a forehead protector and flak jacket. The two Suna ninjas bow to Naruto and Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sama, we've been waiting for you, said the puppeteer. Baki nods his head. Shirabata Sudo, silver dust, is right. The council awaits, said Baki. He then turns his gaze to Naruto. So he's the one that cured Gaara of his psychotic tendencies. He does look like an idiot, but if it wasn't for him, then Gaara wouldn't be a possible future choice for Kazekage, thought Baki. He then bows to Naruto. Shocking that someone is actually bowing to him. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. If it wasn't for you, Gaara would still be insane, said Baki. Naruto rubs the back of his head. It's no problem, me and Gaara are alike, said Naruto with a wide grin, shocking the two Sunanin. That's right, Temari did say she felt the same kind of chakra from Naruto when the two were fighting, but Naruto's chakra was much larger than Gaara's, thought Baki. But where's Gaara? I've been dying to see him, said Naruto, who's literally bouncing off his feet. Baki and Shirabata Sudo chuckle at Naruto's excitement. Gaara is actually home. Shirabata Sudo will show you the way, said Baki, shocking the puppeteer. Jiraiya chuckles at for the shocked face of the Sunanin. Have fun, said Jiraiya. Baki grabs onto the sage's shoulder and shunshin the sage to the council room. Naruto grins at Shirabata Sudo. Come on, let's go already, yelled Naruto. Shirabata Sudo gains a sweat drop. Damn my luck, groaned Shirabata Sudo. With Jiraiya and Baki. As they entered the council room, each member on the council bows to Jiraiya. Well, if it isn't Jiraiya of the Sannin, said Chio. Jiraiya gains a sweat drop at Chio. Hello, Chio, nice to be here, said Jiraiya. The old sage still knew. Even though the years have passed, Chio still has a dislike for Konoha, but he could understand that since Konoha has a dislike for Kumo and Iwa. Jiraiya then glances at Ebizo, who had cough in his hand. Now that you are here, we can get on with this meeting, said Ebizo as he stares at the Konoha ninja. Goza nods his head. But before we start this meeting, the council and Suna would like to apologize for our actions towards your village. Jiraiya-sama, said Goza. Jiraiya waves his hand in a nonchalant manner. Don't worry about it, Goza, you were a victim of Orochimaru's schemes. We are slowly regaining our friendship thanks to my new student Naruto Uzumaki. Chio then gains a shocked expression at remembering that a genin had a hand in curing Gaara. If I may, could I ask you something? Asked Chio. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow at the elder woman. Sure, what is it? Asked Jiraiya, who's confused. Chio then narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. You say you want to strengthen the friendship of Konoha and Suna. If that's true, then could you fix the seal on Gaara? It would do both villages good if Gaara no longer had to worry about losing control, said Chio. After a minute Jiraiya thinks it over. He then nods his head in agreement, causing Chio to smile since she's the one who sealed Shikaku into Gaara in the first place. Now it's time to start this meeting, said Yura. Seijo nods his head with his fellow councilman agreed. Now Jiraiya-sama, I believe you know why you are here? Asked Seijo. Jiraiya nods his head. Of course, this about strengthening our relationship. Tsunade had told me you would be having one of your ninjas to come with me on my 3-year mission, but she didn't really tell me who actually. But why are you doing this? Asked Jiraiya. We doing this so the bond between our villages could be stronger, said Chio in a personally tone. Yura nods his head agreeing with his elder. This is a repaying our debts to Konoha for not canceling the treaty. And the person we've decided who should go with you is Temari of the Sand, daughter of the late Yondaime Kazekage Raza, said Jura in a serious tone. Baki nods his head in agreement. Temari, while young for her age, is quite talented in her own right, said Baki. Jiraiya nodded his head. Yeah, I remember watching her fight against Shikamaru. She almost had him and her wind release is quite powerful, said Jiraiya. Thank you Jiraiya. We make sure our shinobi are well trained and ready to go out on missions, but Tsunade had also say you have important information for us. Is that correct Jiraiya-sama? Asked Ebizo. Jiraiya nods his head gaining a serious expression. Have any of you heard of the Akatsuki? Asked Jiraiya. Each of the councilmen shook their head negatively. The Akatsuki is organization made out of S-class shinobi. There is to obtain all 9 bijou. Their intentions are unknown, but there are 2 members we know of, and that is Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki, said Jiraiya. Each of the councilmen narrows their eyes at hearing about the Akatsuki. Baki narrows his eyes in suspicion. What could the Akatsuki want with the bijou? Whatever their reason can't be any good, thought Baki. He then turns to Jiraiya. So, what should we do Jiraiya-sama? Whatever plan this Akatsuki has won't be good, said Baki in a cold tone. Jiraiya nods his head in agreement. True, we can't allow the Akatsuki to gain control of the bijou. It will only mean more trouble for us as a whole, but I suggest both the Leaf and Sand start to strengthen our shinobi. But I do know one thing, the Akatsuki will start making their move within 3 years, said Jiraiya. Everyone looked shocked while they found out Itachi and Kisame are part of the Akatsuki, has everyone wondering. If those 2 monsters are a part of this terrorist group, then who else is? 3 years doesn't sound like a lot, but we have no choice in the matter. We must stop the Akatsuki, yelled Joseki in anger, with everyone agreeing. Ebizo turns to Chio with a curious expression as his sister has serious concentrated look. Chio, what are you thinking about? Asked Ebizo. Chio turns towards Ebizo. I'm thinking if these people are strong as Jiraiya says, it's time for me to do something I never thought I would do until this day, said Chio. With Naruto. Within the backyard of the home of the Kazage household, laughing could be heard, not laughing of a child but laughing of someone crying from laughing. Within the sandy yard you can see Naruto laughing his ass off, Gaara with a who has a small smile, Temari who's grinning, and Kankuro who looks like he wants to strangle Naruto. Gaara has fair skin, green eyes, and short red hair. He lacks distinctive pupils or eyebrows. He has tanuki-like black rings around his eyes. As a child, he carved the kanji for love, AI, on the left side of his forehead, which his hair is parted in order for it to be kept visible. Gaara wears a reddish-brownish one with longer sleeves and an upright collar, and wears mesh armor on his wrists and ankles. Kankuro wears a black, baggy, full-body suit with a red and yellow circle on the front. He also wears a black hood which covered his head completely, and had cat-like ears and his forehead protector on his forehead. Kankuro at first sported a triangular face paint design, but changed to a different cross-like design. Temari has teal eyes and sandy blonde hair, which is gathered into 4 consecutive pigtails. She wears a long-sleeved purple blouse under a gray top, a dark blue skirt, and a longer sash arranged in a bow. Are telling me that, hahaha, Kankuro used to take your makeup and put it on myself. Laughed Naruto, who has tears rolling down his face. Temari has a wide cocky grin. Yep, what did you used to say? Asked Temari as she places her finger on her chin. She then gains a smirk. Oh yeah. Now I remember, he would say, fear me the great and stunning Kankuro-sama, master of puppets, or something like that, said Temari as she shrugs her shoulders. Naruto then begins laugh silently with fresh tears rolling down his face. Kankuro glares at Naruto, but Naruto pays him no mind. He then turns to Temari. Damn you, woman! Roared Kankuro. I also find it quite amusing, said Gaara, causing Kankuro to face fault. Why must you always make my life so damn difficult, Temari? Groaned Kankuro. Because you make it so easy, said Temari in a teasing manner. Make up, boy, whispered Naruto. He then growls at Naruto. I am not. Fuck you, baka! Roared Kankuro. Temari lets out a giggly he. Make up, boy, you know I like that name. For now on you will be called Mekwapu boy. Make up, boy, said Temari. Never! Yelled Kankuro. Gaara, who's drinking some tea, stares at Kankuro. I like it, said Gaara. The four genin then hear footstep. They turn around and see Jiraiya and Baki. Jiraiya finished with the meeting? Asked Gaara. The two shinobi nods their head. There's something we need to tell you but before that Jiraiya-sama needs to check Summering out, said Baki, causing the genin to give the sage and Jounin a questionable stare. Jiraiya thrn pulls out some chakra induction papers. Chakra induction papers, said Kankuro in a confused tone, wondering why Jiraiya has those papers. Naruto glances at Kankuro. Chakra induction papers? What's that? Asked Naruto. Baki turned towards Naruto. Naruto, every person's chakra has an affinity towards one of the 5 basic nature transformations. Affinity can at times be genetic, or at least common to a particular family. Most members of the Uchiha clan have an affinity towards the fire nature. One's affinity can be determined using pieces of paper made from a special type of tree that is grown and fed with chakra. When this so-called chakra induction paper, Chakura Kanoshi, is exposed to even the slightest hint of chakra, it reacts according to the chakra's latent element. Fire, the paper will ignite and turn to ash. Wind, the paper will split in two. Lightning, the paper will wrinkle. Earth, the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away. And water, the paper will become damp, said Baki in a lectured tone. Naruto then gains a confused expression, causing everyone to shake their head negatively at Naruto's idiotic. Naruto, just pour your chakra into those papers, then you'll find out which is your element affinity. Basically, if you have fire you can use fire release, explained Temari in a professional tone. Naruto then gains an understanding expression. I get it now, grinned Naruto. He thrn turns towards Temari. Thanks, Temari-chan, grinned Naruto. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Jiraiya hands Naruto the paper and as instructed he pours some chakra into the paper. The paper splits into, surprising everyone. So, he has wind release just like Gaara and Temari, not to mention he's from Konoha, which is rare. Thought Kankuro, but to Kankuros and everyone's face goes into shock as each of the 2 pieces becomes damp and crumbles into dust. No way, he has wind, futon, earth, doton, and water release, sueton, yelled a surprised Kankuro. Gaara smiles at his friend. You continue to amaze me, said Gaara. Naruto rubs the back of his head nervously. Thanks, Gaara, said Naruto with a sheepless smile. Now that we have got that done, it's time to drop the bomb on you, Temari, said Baki, having the genin attention. Jiraiya turns to the female Sunakunoichi. Your council has declared that you to be joining Naruto and I on our 3-year training trip, said Jiraiya. Baki turned towards Naruto. Naruto, every person's chakra has an affinity towards one of the 5 basic nature transformations. Affinity can at times be genetic, or at least common to a particular family. Most members of the Uchiha clan have an affinity towards the fire nature. One's affinity can be determined using pieces of paper made from a special type of tree that is grown and fed with chakra. When this so-called chakra induction paper, Chakura Kanoshi, is exposed to even the slightest hint of chakra, it reacts according to the chakra's latent element. Fire, the paper will ignite and turn to ash. Wind, the paper will split in two. Lightning, the paper will wrinkle. Earth, the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away. And water, the paper will become damp, said Baki in a lectured tone. Naruto then gains a confused expression, causing everyone to shake their head negatively at Naruto's idiotic. Naruto, just pour your chakra into those papers, then you'll find out which is your element affinity. Basically, if you have fire you can use fire release, explained Temari in a professional tone. Naruto then gains an understanding expression. I get it now, grinned Naruto. He thrn turns towards Temari. Thanks Temari-chan, grinned Naruto. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Jiraiya hands Naruto the paper and as instructed he pours some chakra into the paper. The paper splits into surprising everyone. So, he has wind release just like Gaara and Temari, not to mention he's from Konoha, which is rare, thought Kankuro, but to Kankuros and everyone's face goes into shock as each of the two pieces becomes damp and crumbles into dust. No way, he has wind, futon, earth, doton, and water release, sueton, yelled a surprised Kankuro. Gaara smiles at his friend. You continue to amaze me, said Gaara. Naruto rubs the back of his head nervously. Thanks Gaara, said Naruto with a sheepless smile. Now that we have got that done, it's time to drop the bomb on you Temari, said Baki, having the genuine attention. Jiraiya turns to the female. Sunakunoichi, your council has declared that you to be joining Naruto and I on our 3-year training trip, said Jiraiya. Recap end. Gaara just stares at Toad Sannin with a surprised expression on his face with his green-colored eyes shot open wide. Kankuro just stares at Jiraiya with a stunned look on his war-painted face. And Temari stares at Jiraiya with shocked and disbelief expression. WHWH what? BB but, why? Stuttered Temari, who's shocked beyond belief. But as for Naruto, he just stand in confusion, not even knowing Temari is coming with him on his 3 training trip. Naruto stares at Jiraiya with a confused look. Hey! What the hell, Rasengan? I thought you were only training me, yelled Naruto. Jiraiya then hits Naruto on top of his head. Quit calling me that brat, yelled Jiraiya. He then turned towards Temari with a serious expression. He then turned towards Baki. Baki, since she's your student, I believed you're the one who should tell her, said Jiraiya as he stares at the Suna Jounin. Baki nods in agreement. Yes, of course Jiraiya-sama. Temari, the council has decided you will go on a 3-year training mission. This is also a mission for you to grow strong enough to protect the village, said Baki in a serious tone. Temari narrows her eyes at Baki. But why would I need to leave the village? Baki-sensei, there's something you're not telling me, stated Temari with glare. He then released a hollow chuckle. Always the perceptive one Temari. The reason you must leave and train with Jiraiya-sama is because there's a group of S-rank ninjas after Naruto and Gaara. No, that wouldn't be right. They're after what? Each has their bijou. As far as we know, the only members of this group are Itachi, Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki, said Baki, shocking the 3 siblings. Gaara glares at Baki, not the same level of glare as it was once, but still a notable glare. What are they called? demanded Gaara with his eyes becoming cold. But Baki doesn't back down. They call themselves Akatsuki. We're not sure of their motives, but both Konoha and Tsunade must be strong enough to handle the threat, said Baki. Chio then walks up to Temari with a serious expression and shook her head negatively. No, if what Jiraiya-sama said is true, then each village will be strong. If not, then who knows what they might be, especially with monsters such as Itachi and Kisame. But just you joining Uzumaki here on a training trip with Jiraiya. I will be taking a student, something I thought I would never actually do, said Chio. Really, Lady Chio, who are you planning to take as your student? Asked a shocked Temari. But instead of answering her, she just points her finger at Kankuro. Congratulations Kankuro, you will now be my student, said a smiling Chio. Kankuro points at himself and she nods her head. Me? But why me? I'm not ungrateful, Lady Chio, but why me of all people? Asked a bewildered Kankuro with his brown eyes widening with utter shock. Chio smiles warmly at him. It's quite simple Kankuro. You are one of the most killed puppeteers in the village, and it's about time that I accept my mistakes and move on. With only moving on can we truthfully move on, said Chio. Kankuro then bows towards Chio. I'm grateful that you'll be taking as your student Chio-sensei, said a respectful Kankuro. He then turned his attention towards Baki. When will Tenari be leaving? Asked Kankuro. Baki then turned towards Jiraiya, who gained a sweat drop on the side of his head at having the attention on him. Well, honestly, I wasn't planning on coming here, but I've had to change my original plan. But the sooner, the better. We must be on constant move. We can't allow the Akatsuki to know Naruto's whereabouts, said Jiraiya. He then turned towards Gaara. But before I do leave, I must finish the request, said Jiraiya. Gaara raised an eyebrow. What is this request you speaks of, Jiraiya? Asked Gaara. Jiraiya grins at Gaara. To fix your seal, of course. Hey Lady Chio, do you have anywhere I can take Gaara to fix his seal? Asked Jiraiya. Chio nods her head. Yeah, there is actually. I'll take you, said Chio. Jiraiya nods his head. He then turned towards the 4 genin. Naruto, you're coming with me. I plan to teach you Fuinjutsu and you should watch me. Temari, use this time to pack what you need, ordered Jiraiya. He then walls with Chiyo, with Naruto running up with Gaara, hoping to talk to his fellow Jinchuriki. Before they knew it, they were in an underground location below the hospital. Naruto then turned towards Gaara. Hey, Gaara, do you think Temari is okay? I mean, she is being ordered to leave her village. I would be pretty down if you ask me. Asked Naruto. Even though he wasn't that bright, he understood the serious tension. After all, when Kakashi had brought him back to the village, he had to leave Konohagakure not really being able to say his good. Gaara crossed his arms and just stares at the buildings around. Gaara had summarized this level was ancient and could be where people have gone to be sealed by Shikaku. I believe she will get over it. Temari is not someone who has a weak. She understands this must be done to protect her village, but she is saddened by the fact she must for 3 years. Said Gaara. He then turned towards Naruto, who has his hands behind his neck. Naruto Uzumaki, can I ask you something? Asked Gaara. Naruto's puzzled face turned to his notorious fox-like smile with wide grin. Sure, Gaara, we're friends. Exclaimed Naruto with a wide grin. Gaara smiles at Naruto. That's good to hear. I want you watch out for her. I know this might seem strange since Temari is strong in her right, but with my eyes open I feel horrible how I acted towards her and Kankuro, said Gaara. Naruto just grins at him with a thumbs up. You don't have to worry about anything, Gaara. Naruto Uzumaki is on the job. Databayo. Exclaimed Naruto. Chiyo smiles at the 2 Jinchuriki while Jiraiya smirks at the fact these two were once enemies and now appears to be best friends. Gaara smiles at Naruto. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, you are a true friend, said the youngest son of Raza. He then turned towards Jiraiya. How will you fix the seal? Asked Gaara. I will place a 8 trigrams sealing style, hack no Fuin Shiki, on you. This was the same seal the Yondaime used to seal Kyuubi inside of Naruto. Now Gaara, remove your shirt. Ordered Jiraiya. Gaara nods his head and removes all of his clothing. Jiraiya then placed his hand on Gaara's stomach. Both Naruto and Chiyo are treated to see the sealing formula moved from the Sanin's arm to Gaara's stomach. Gaara then falls back on the ground. Naruto quickly rushes to help his friend up. Gaara, are you okay? Asked Naruto. Gaara nods his head with a smile. I feel better than I've ever felt, stated Gaara. He then turned towards Jiraiya and bows to him. Thank you, Jiraiya-sama, said Gaara. Jiraiya waves him off. It's no problem. Forcing you to live with flawed seal is just cruel. Besides, now you can get some sleep without worrying about Shikaku taking control over you. Grinned Jiraiya. He then turned towards Chiyo. Yes, what is it? Asked Jiraiya. Does that boy know of his heritage? I noticed that seal from anywhere even though I'm just a novice at Fuinjutsu. That was an Uzumaki seal, whispered Chiyo. Jiraiya shook his head negatively, at which shocked Chiyo since she believed the child deserves to know of his origin. After all, when she was younger the Uzumaki clan were nothing to joke about and their Fuinjutsu were the most powerful. No one could match them in Fuinjutsu, but those red-haired clan were just all around powerful. No one would dare fight a group of them, especially Ashina and Mito Uzumaki. Those two were a powerhouse in their own right. After all, Mito is the one who taught her granddaughter about medical ninjutsu. I know he has every right, but the problem was I couldn't tell him in the village, mostly because of Danzo, whispered Jiraiya. Lady Chiyo narrowed her at Jiraiya. He was one of Sandaime Hokage's teammate, whispered Chiyo. She remembered the man clearly. He was not one who represented what Konohagakure or their will of fire was supposed to be. He's not to be trusted. I'm sure you know this, but from my spy network I found multiple files of every dirty work he's done, like having one of his root ninja attempt to assassinate Sabutobi-sensei. I'm not sure why Sabutobi-sensei hasn't done anything, but Tsunade plans to fix that, whispered Jiraiya in a low tone. He never really understood why his sensei allowed Danzo, but luckily both him and Tsunade won't make the same mistake their sensei has. He already plans to make sure Naruto won't make the same mistake as him. Jiraiya knew his teammate Sasuke Uchiha was just like Orochimaru. They both hunger for power. Those two would do anything to achieve powerful, and he knew Orochimaru would sacrifice as many lives as needed to achieve whatever dark cruel experiment. While he didn't know Sasuke, he knew his type. The Uchiha is the power-hungry type. He would do anything to achieve power. The White Net knew even he is somehow to kill Itachi, he wouldn't go back to the village. No, he'll just direct his hatred somewhere else. Sasuke wasn't the type to let go of his hatred. Chiyo smiles at Jiraiya with a sly smile. It seems like both our villages struggle with their own problems. But your student is amazing, you know, to be able to save Gaara from his own darkness and was able to save his own village from Gaara's rampage. I have to say that's quite impressive, said Chio. Jiraiya smirks at Naruto and Gaara. Yeah, I do. He's not like any genin, he has untapped potential just waiting to be unlocked, said Jiraiya. Naruto, come on, hey, have a big schedule and I'll teach you something, said Jiraiya with a smirk. Naruto doesn't even say anything, rush towards. He then began to bounce up and down in excitement. Really? What you going to teach me? Am I going to learn how to shot fire out of my eyes or shot knives out of my hands? Yelled Naruto with excitement. Jiraiya just rolls his eyes at Naruto while Chio snickers at his enthusiasm. Just come on, brat, we have much to do, said Jiraiya. Both Chio and Gaara follows the Konoha duo. When they return to the gates of Suna, they are greeted to see the councilman, Kankuro, a fellow kunoichi Maki, and Temari, who has her iron fan, Tezen, with her and a bag on her back. Jiraiya smiles at her. Ready to go? Jiraiya. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Ready as I ever be, Jiraiya-sama, said Temari. He just nods his head. Right then, let's go, there's a lot we have to do, said Jiraiya. Both blondes their heads. Time skip. Location, Land of Rivers, Gunraku Forest. The Land of Rivers, Kawa no Kuni, is a small country that is situated between the borders of the Land of Wind and the Land of Fire. The small country has a calm-like weather. Most say this country is a country of spring with large and wide grass fields, medium-sized trees but don't overshadow the land, such as the trees in Konohagakure. Even the very mountains are covered in grass. Temari stares at Jiraiya. So, what will you be teaching us? There must be a reason why you've taken us all the way out here. Even the village Tanagakure, village hidden in the valleys, is a small village that isn't well known? Asked Temari with a look of suspension. Jiraiya chuckles. You're quite perspective, but you're not wrong. I've chosen Land of Rivers because it's not very well known, but people mostly come here for a relaxing vacation of nothingness and to have a new start. Thus place is mostly very quiet, plus with its open wide field would be a good training area. But this also takes us en route to Land of Metal, Kin no Kuni. It's also where one of my colleges lives, said Jiraiya. Naruto scratches the side of his head in confusion. Land of Metal? Replied Naruto. What's that? Questioned Temari. The Land of Metal. It is a country south from here. The landscape of the land is that of a rocky, high desert, with most of the environment being composed of dry soil and with the rare appearance of wildlife, such as trees or even large-scale animals. Minagakure, hidden in the mountain peak, also known as Village Hidden by the Ridge or Hidden Ridge Village, is an hidden shinobi village in the land of several villages. Instead of a Kage, the village's highest standing individual is the village leader, Sato Osa, but you shouldn't worry about it, we won't go there until 1 month later, said Jiraiya. Temari narrows her green-colored eyes at her new sensei. Wait, are you saying we are staring here for a month? Asked Temari. Jiraiya grins at her. Yep, but I also need to know what you can do, Temari. I've seen your fight with the Nara kid during the Chunin, but I obviously know you are very intelligent, even able making Shikaku's kid trouble, and he's a born genius. I know you're skilled in wind release, photon, and you seem like you are even able to easily deduce an opponent's strategies and weaknesses soon after a battle begins, but I also see some missing holes, said Jiraiya in a teaching tone. Missing holes? There is no missing holes. I was able to easily kill a elite sound ninja, said Temsri in an prudent tone. That may be true, but you rely on your fan too much. What if someone was able to separate it from you or destroy it? Have you actually used your element without your fan, or how about your taijutsu? And I mean without your fan, said Jiraiya. While you're a skilled kunoichi, you must not look over these holes or it will cost you your life, but luckily various wind, earth, and water release scrolls on me, but first there's something that must be done, said Jiraiya. Temari can't help but to look down in shame since no one has actually reprimanded her. Everyone had always praised her skills. Naruto then scoffed at Jiraiya, causing both Temari and Naruto to turn towards him. What's that? You gonna peep on her, you perv? Insulted Naruto. Jiraiya glares at Naruto. You fool. Your tiny brain just doesn't understand true work of literature, and I've told you I'm a super pervert, yelled Jiraiya. But the perverted Sannin forget he was in the presence of a female. He turned towards her and was smacked against the head by her steel fan. Try anything, I'll do worse, threatened Temari with her fan ready. Jiraiya quickly recovers and raises up from the ground. Ahaha, silly girl, I have no interest in children, said Jiraiya. He then glares at Naruto. I told you it's research, brat. You are just too young, exclaimed a grinning Jiraiya. His foolish persona then crumbles and becomes one of seriousness. But no, Naruto, I'm not talking about my books. What I'm talking about is the true purpose of the clones, said Jiraiya. What do you mean, Rasengan? Asked Naruto. Do either of you know who actually created the shadow clone technique, Kage no Bunshin? Asked Jiraiya. He watches as both genin shook their heads negatively. The jutsu was created by Tobirama Senju, the Nidaime Hokage. He created this jutsu to the perfect spying and information gathering jutsu. While the jutsu creates a clone, it also has a second fictional that allows the clone to gain knowledge once it dispels, said Jiraiya. Temari looks shocked while Naruto just looked completely lost beyond belief. Huh? Replied Naruto in a dumb-like way. Jiraiya groaned at this moment. He knew the teachers didn't really teach him, but the Sannin just knew getting the boy's intelligence where it's supposed to be anything but easy. Temari then turned towards Jiraiya. So you're saying if Naruto sent a clone into the city and it puffed away, he will gain the memory of the clone? Asked Temari. Jiraiya nods his head. Naruto then gains an expression of realization. Oh, I get it now, exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya turned to Naruto so fast he nearly gave himself whiplash. What? You understand her example and not mine? Roared Jiraiya. Naruto grins at Temari. He then turned towards his Toad sensei. Yep, I sure do. She makes it easy to understand, said Naruto with a bright grin on his whiskered cheeks. Jiraiya smirked at this. Okay, maybe this could work in my favor, thought Jiraiya. He turned towards Jiraiya with a wide grin. If you understand, then you can finish learning the Rasengan, Naruto. Roared Jiraiya. The blonde Konoha shinobi stares at Jiraiya with a wide expression. What? But I already know the Rasengan, exclaimed Naruto with disbelief. Jiraiya then runs his hand through his long white mane hair. Naruto, you have to use a clone to use a clone to create a clone, then you haven't truly learned the clone. Naruto, what if you go up against someone who's faster than you or someone who uses a long-distance jutsu? What are you going to do? Asked Jiraiya. Naruto then looks down. The Rasengan is powerful jutsu created by the Yondaime Hokage. You do wish to surpass him, don't you? Questioned Jiraiya. Naruto gains a million what smile. Hell yeah. Roared Naruto. Then create 100 clones and split them into a team of 10 and send every clone apart from each other. I also want you to dispel each clone every 10 minutes. After you're able to completely learn the Rasengan, we'll start working on your taijutsu, said Jiraiya. Wait, what are you going to doing? Questioned Naruto with a questionable glare. He bet the Sannin was just going to run off and peep on some woman. Jiraiya rolled his eyes at the male blonde, and knowing what his male student was thinking. I'm going to working with Temari's wind nature now. Before you start yelling about me ditching you or something, I'm going to send 5 clones to oversee your progress, said Jiraiya. Naruto slowly nods his head. And how long will I be doing this? Asked Naruto. You will be training to complete the Rasengan to morning to dawn. You're going to be here for a while, and like you said, there are no shortcuts becoming the Hokage, said Jiraiya, making Naruto blush in embarrassment. Temari shot Naruto a deadpan expression. Wait a minute, was Naruto really thinking of having a clone help him? Thought Temari. Jiraiya then creates a number of 5 clones in total, each of them then split up in different teams. Jiraiya and Temari don't stop walking until they arrive in a grassy field that's not surrounded by tree. Jiraiya then surveys his surroundings with a look of thinking, this'll work especially with the trees out the way. Alright Temari, I'm positive you've learned the wind nature exercise, correct? Asked Jiraiya. Temari, who's leaning against her fan, nods her head. Yeah, it was taught to me at a young age, but we had own wind nature exercise. I'm not sure how Konoha does it since there are very few wind users in your village, said Temari. He nods his head in agreement. That's right, now the only wind users in the village right now is Asuma Sabutobi and the retired shinobi Danzo. There's 2 phases Konoha ninjas use. The first is to cut a leaf in half with their chakra, and second phase is to wind to halt the flow of a waterfall, said Jiraiya. That sounds pretty hard. For empty village we had use our wind chakra to cut through a rock, and then we have to use cut through a strong dust storm, said Temari in flat tone. Well damn, but now let's teach some wind jutsu. I'll be teaching the most well-known jutsu, wind release, great breakthrough, futon, detapa. You must channel a stream of wind chakra expelled from your mouth. The hand signs of this technique are tiger, ox, dog, rabbit, and snake, ordered Jiraiya. He then shows her the required hand signs. Ready? Asked Jiraiya. Temari gives Jiraiya a nod with a cocky smirk. Yeah, I'm ready, said Temari. She then goes through the proper hand signs and channels the wind element through her mouth. Wind release, great breakthrough, futon, de tapa, yelled Temari, but instead of a gust of wind expelling from her mouth, she's flown back by the input of the jutsu. She then groans in pain. Damn, that hurt, groaned Temari. Jiraiya kneels down in front of her with a snarky smirk. Well, I knew you wouldn't be able to get it down at first, snickered Jiraiya. The female kunoichi glares at Jiraiya's smirking face. If you were able to get it down would be astonishing, but with you neglecting the wind nature I accepted that to actually happen, said Jiraiya. So, what did I do wrong? Asked Temari. Well, channeled way too much chakra through lungs, which is fly you flown, but it seems like we'll be going through the basics, said Jiraiya. Temari then gaina a curious look. Jiraiya-sama, have to ask, what exactly are we going to be doing here? I mean, I doubt we're going to be staying here just for me to fix with wind's nature and Naruto completing the Rasengan. We're here for something else, aren't we? Questioned Temari with a serious expression. Jiraiya then gains a serious expression. Yes, there is. One of my spies informed me the mining town is being used as a hideout for Orochimaru. He even informed me he saw Kabuto, one of Orochimaru's servants, and a member of Root are disbanded, a motionless group who serve and only serve Danzo, who's a traitor. The only reason why he has lived so long is because my sensei allowed it. But my spy had informed me in the lower levels there have been dead bodies coming into the village. These are the diseased bodies of the Uchiha, Senju, Kurama, Hyuga, Kagaya, and Yuki clan. And they even have a level even farther down, but he doesn't know what's in there, said Jiraiya with serious lecture tone. Temari stares at Jiraiya with shock and horror. She couldn't believe someone would mess with dead just to create a new breed of shinobi, but then she was forced to remember that Orochimaru is the same person who killed her father and manipulate her village. But this was horrible, so, that's why we are truly here to stop whatever experiments that's going down below, stated Temari. Yeah, that's right, this would be an A-rank mission. I'm not how much your espionage skills are, but I'll be training both you and Naruto in assassination, said Jiraiya. She raised an eyebrow at Jiraiya. Are you sure you're going to be able to train both? Of level of skill aren't exactly on the same level? Asked Temari. Jiraiya just waved her off. I know that. Have you forgotten I've trained the yondaime? Besides, I've had 4 students in total. Besides, training you 2 beats will be no problem, laughed Jiraiya, ignoring the annoyed Tsunade kunoichi. Back in Konoha, Tsunade stares at Sakura with a hardened glare while the young pink net just looks surprised and confused. She then shifts her shoulders in a nervous manner as she's being glared at by the Senju woman. Tsunade-sama, I didn't quite hear you, can you repeat that? Asked Sakura in a respectful tone. Tsunade mentally sighed, hoping what she's doing is right. You heard me loud and clear, Sakura. I said I won't train you, said Tsunade. She honestly hoped what she's doing is right. She knew what she's about to do is harsh, but she's the Hokage. But why I have to rescue Saki-kun? Yelled Sakura in a heartbroken tone. She didn't understand. She was sure Tsunade would teach her. And that is why. You are only focused on Sasuke. You have no true drive or goal other than Sasuke. Sakura, what if Sasuke returned but he didn't accept your feelings? I'm sorry, but I will not train a fangirl. Not only that, but you've never trained. Besides, even if you, Naruto, and Kakashi went after him, will you be able to fight him? Kill him if you have to? What would you do if he comes after you intent to end your life? Said Tsunade. Sakura with tears in her eyes glares at the busy medic. You're lying. Saki wouldn't hurt me. He wouldn't hurt any of us, roared a crying Sakura. Tsunade massages the temple of her forehead. She then glares daggers at Sakura. Is that what you believe? Asked a stoic Tsunade. Sakura nods. Then you're not fit to be a kunoichi of Konohagakure. Not only have ignored that Naruto nearly died because of Sasuke, but your fellow comrades nearly died trying to bring him back. But also Sasuke went to Orochimaru not because he was being influenced or forced. He went to Orochimaru of choice. I'm sorry, Sakura, but I will be forced to put him in the bingo book from no one. Sasuke Uchiha is a missing nin and traitor. Sakura Haruno, I cannot have a ninja who is not committed to protecting the village. Give me your headband, ordered Tsunade, then watches as Sakura storms out crying. Tsunade released a sigh. Shizun, come in, ordered Tsunade. Shizune is a fair-skinned woman of average height and slender build with onyx eyes and jet black hair. Her hair is straight and shoulder-length with bangs that cover her ears and frame her face. Normally, Shizune is seen in a long bluish-black kimono with white trimmings, held closed by a white obi, and open-toed sandals with low heels. Shizune enters the two with a bow. "What do you need, Tsunade-sama?" asked Shizune in a respectful tone. She watches as Tsunade rises from her seat. "Shizune, please cancel Sakura's ninja license. There's somewhere I must be," said Tsunade. She nods her head. She then turned towards Tsunade with uneasy and concerned expression. Tsunade-sama, do you think you've made the right choice? I mean canceling her license?" asked Shizune. She released a sigh of tiredness. "I believe so, but this is right for the village. I cannot have a weak ninja in my village." "You've went through her file, correct?" questioned Tsunade. Shizune then nods her head. "Then you know her only reasoning was to gain Sasuke's attention. Besides, you know how many fangirls became kunoichi, right?" asked Tsunade. Shizune then gains a grim look. "You're doing this to protect, aren't you?" asked Shizune. Tsunade nods her head and leaves the office, making her way to the Yamanaka household. She knocks on the door and gets greeted to Ino's mother. Harumi has light brown eyes without pupils and brown hair which is tied into a bun with a red ribbon in it. Strands frame both sides of her face, hanging over her ears from behind them. She is fair-skinned, and slight wrinkles are visible near her mouth. Her attire consists of a dark teal elegant dress, which sports an aquamarine-colored gem below the collar. Harumi smiles at Tsunade. "Hokage-sama, what can I do for you?" asked the brunette with a surprised expression on her face. Tsunade smiles warmly at Harumi. "Is your daughter and husband here?" asked Tsunade with a warm aura around her. "Yes, there are," said Harumi. The two enter her home and go in the backyard, seeing Inoichi and Ino training. "Inoichi-kun, Ino-chan, Tsunade-sama is right." Both turn toward Tsunade. Both of the blonde's eyes are wide open. "Tsunade-sama, what are you doing here?" exclaimed a shocked Ino, who's staring at Tsunade with utter disbelief. Shizune enters the two with a bow. "What do you need, Tsunade-sama?" asked Shizune in a respectful tone. She watches as Tsunade rises from her seat. "Shizune, please cancel Sakura's ninja license. There's somewhere I must be," said Tsunade. She nods her head. She then turned towards Tsunade with uneasy and concerned expression. Tsunade-sama, do you think you've made the right choice? I mean canceling her license?" asked Shizune. She released a sigh of tiredness. "I believe so, but this is right for the village. I cannot have a weak ninja in my village." "You've gone through her file, correct?" questioned Tsunade. Shizune then nods her head. "Then you know her only reason to be a ninja was to gain Sasuke's attention. Besides, you know how many fangirls became kunoichi, right?" asked Tsunade. Shizune then gains a grim look. "You're doing this to protect her, aren't you?" asked Shizune. Tsunade nods her head and leaves the office, making her way to the Yamanaka household. She knocks on the door and gets greeted to Ino's mother. Harumi has light brown eyes without pupils and brown hair which is tied into a bun with a red ribbon in it. Strands frame both sides of her face, hanging over her ears from behind them. She is fair-skinned, and slight wrinkles are visible near her mouth. Her attire consists of a dark teal elegant dress, which sports an aquamarine-colored gem below the collar. Harumi smiles at Tsunade. "Hokage-sama, what can I do for you?" asked the brunette with a surprised expression on her face. Tsunade smiles warmly at Harumi. "Is your daughter and husband here?" asked Tsunade with a warm aura around her. "Yes, there are," said Harumi. The two enter her home and go in the backyard, seeing Inoichi and Ino training. "Inoichi-kun, Ino-chan, Tsunade-sama is here," said Harumi. Both turn toward Tsunade. Both of the blonde's eyes are wide open. "Tsunade-sama, what are you doing here?" exclaimed a shocked Ino, who's staring at Tsunade with utter disbelief. Recap end. Inoichi quickly bows to the sannin. He then gives his daughter a hard look. She in return bows her head and, hoping to hide her embarrassment, "Welcome, Tsunade-sama, what can we do for you?" asked Inoichi. He figured Tsunade didn't come here for a visit or check on them. If he had to guess, it was important. "Well, I came to see you, Ino," said Tsunade. Both father and daughter stares at the medic Hokage with a shocked expression. "Before I tell you why I came, there's a question I have. If you answer right, then I'll explain why I'm here and why I have sought you out," explained Tsunade. Ino can't help but fidget around in a nervous manner. Tsunade smiles at her. "My question is quite simple actually. What is your goal?" asked Tsunade. Ino stares at Tsunade with a confused look. "My goal?" Asked Ino. Tsunade nods her head. It sounds like something Asuma asked and we first met him back then. My dream was to make Sasuke mine but he left the village to join Orochimaru, thought Ino. She then remembers her friends had nearly died when they were sent to rescue. Both Niji and Choji were on death's door. Kiba and Shikamaru would have been dead if it wasn't for Temari and Kankuro. They would die. She can still remember seeing Choji's shriveled body. It was a sight that will never leave her. Ino then looks down to her feet. After a whole minute of silence she looks down at her feet. She then looks at Tsunade staring at her hazel eyes. I don't want to be on the sidelines when my teammates are putting their lives on the line. I want to be with them fighting by their side. I'm done being the hopeless little girl," said Ino. Tsunade smiles at this. I'm glad to hear I actually declined Sakura to be my apprentice because of the answer. Her answer was Sasuke, said Tsunade. Ino didn't seem all that surprised. The only thing that appeared to be on her mind but to hear Sasuke was Sakura's dream is a bit disappointing, especially after everything that has happened. Fortunately, you didn't give the same response as her, which is why I have decided to take you on as my apprentice, said Tsunade. What? Really? You want to train me? Muttered Ino. She heard Naruto is being trained by Jiraiya. To be trained by one of the legendary Sannin was a huge honor. Tsunade nods her head. Ino bows her head. I'm grateful for you choosing me to be your apprentice. I won't make you regret it, said Ino with a million-ton smile. Tsunade smiles at Ino. Your training starts tomorrow morning. Meet me at the hospital at 6 a.m. and don't be late, smiled Tsunade. Hi. Sure show, exclaimed Ino. Never in her life had she felt so happy. She was being trained by Tsunade Senju, the Godame Hokage, the Slug Sannin, and the world's greatest medic. She knew it would be only a matter of time before Sakura found out. She just hopes her friend can find her own path and realize Sasuke was not the dreamboat they would always dream of after the Sasuke retrieval mission. It was a real eye-opener for everyone. She knew Tenten might feel the same way since Niji was critical condition and Lee was also injured when he and Gaara fought the Bone User, with Naruto, Temari, and Jiraiya. Next morning, location, Land of Rivers, Gunraku Forest. Temari's eyes stared in shock as she stares Naruto and his clones who are practicing the Rasengan. She can still remember when he summoned over hundreds of clones to fight Gaara. She knew that was something she won't ever forget. Hell, she was one of the people who underestimated him. She along with everyone didn't believe he can beat Kiba or Niji, but the blonde proved them wrong. He was still an idiot, but at least wasn't an idiot that was all talking. The blonde can at least back it up. She can't help but wonder when they infiltrate Orochimaru's hideout, will Naruto be able to do what's needs to be done? She could already tell he never got his hands bloody. He was also still quite naive and green behind the ears. Hell yeah, I did it, cheered Naruto. Temari is awakened from her daze and sees the 10 clones disperse in a huge cloud of smoke. She blinks at her fellow blonde in confusion. Wait, what? It's only been the second day, exclaimed Temari. She just couldn't believe it. She then narrowed her eyes at the short genin. Show me, said Temari. Naruto grins widely at her. He then extends his hand out and the Rasengan forms. You actually did it, exclaimed a shocked Temari. The brat learned it in a week, said Jiraiya, appearing behind next to Temari out nowhere, causing Temari to jump back in surprise. She glares at the Toad Sannin for invading her personal space. Well, a deal is a deal. It's time to fix that shitty taijutsu of yours, said Jiraiya, causing Naruto to glare at Jiraiya, but the white-haired gives him a deadpan look at which Naruto rubs the back of his head. Jiraiya then tosses Naruto a scroll, who stares at it in confusion. Pour chakra into it, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto does as ordered and pump chakra into it. A cloud covers the scroll. As the cloud vanishes, various of scrolls appears along with a Kusarigama. That scroll contains ninjutsu, taijutsu, Kisarigama jutsu, and Kyakujutsu of Hanzo the Salamander, said Jiraiya. Naruto stares at Jiraiya in confusion. Hanzo of the Salamander? Repeated Naruto. Jiraiya sighs at this. He really needed to make Naruto smart. Hopefully with Temari here he can get Naruto up to Minato's intelligence, or at least Kushina's level. He was a warlord in Amigakure. He was the one that gave me, Orochimaru, and Tsunade our Sannin title. We also couldn't kill him and we were in our prime, said Jiraiya, shocking the two blonde duos. Temari narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. How exactly did you get that scroll? Getting into Amigakure is near impossible, said Temari. Jiraiya grins at the Tsunagakure Kunoichi in a cocky manner but in a proud manner. It was all thanks to my spy network. If it wasn't for him might have to wing it, but fortunately, that isn't the case. said Jiraiya. Naruto and Temari stare at the man in shock and amazement. Jiraiya turns towards Naruto with a serious look. From here on I won't be lenient with your training, I will be training you harder than before. We don't have time to simply sit around and take our precious time. I can assure you the Akatsuki and Orochimaru won't be at easy. Now I will tell you this only once. I am training the two of you to be ready and prepared for the Akatsuki. The truth is, even if Orochimaru did get Sasuke's body, he still wouldn't be a match for some of the more powerhouse members, and I don't want to hear any buts," said Jiraiya in a hardened tone, stopping Naruto from interrupting him. Jiraiya sighs and runs his hand through his long white. I know how you feel, Naruto. I was exactly in your spot when Orochimaru left and betrayed the village. I wanted my best friend back, but the man who I trusted over the years is gone. The moment he slashed his headband, he marked himself as an enemy of Konoha, said Jiraiya. He then looks at Naruto with a sober look as the blonde shinobi who has his head lowered and gains a sad expression. Naruto, let me ask you something. Can you really considered Sasuke your friend when he joined the man who killed Sarutobi-sensei?" questioned Jiraiya. His blue eyes widened. He didn't have the answer. In most cases he would just exclaim, Sasuke isn't anything like Orochimaru, but Sasuke did to kill him. He had also tried using the Chidori on when Tsunade took him out of the coma he was in. He was also being an ungrateful bastard. When he woke up he honestly didn't know what to actually believe. He really wished the old man was here. Temari then bonks him on the head, knocking Naruto of his daze. He turns towards Temari with a curious expression. She stares at him with a hardened stare. So, what, you're just going mope around? Isn't your goal to be Hokage? Sasuke made his choice, now to choose yours. Do you want to be stronger to help your village, or do you want to be stuck in a slump like a sick dog? Naruto, you are being trained by one of the Sannin. That's the biggest honor. People would kill for that opportunity, said Temari. Seeing the young boy acting like someone had just killed his puppy was quite annoying. Jiraiya nods his head. She's right. Naruto, being trained by of the Sannin is as much of an honor as being trained by the Hokage. But Naruto, do you forever want to be known as a knucklehead ninja, or do you want to be known as a powerful Kage-level shinobi? Questioned Jiraiya. If I'm able to open his eyes and ditch that childish personal of his, then he could even surpass myself. I wouldn't doubt it if he even surpassed you, Minato, thought the Sannin. He had faith Naruto was the one the old sage spoke about, and if he anything like her, then he has a natural-born talent for Fuinjutsu, thought Jiraiya. Does he want to be known as a knucklehead for the rest of his ninja career? He knew his answer. If he wanted to be a great Hokage, he'll need a name to match his strength. Naruto grins at Jiraiya with a wide grin, and his cerulean-colored eyes shined with a brand new sense of determination and conviction. Naruto then punches his palm. Well, what are we waiting for, pervy sage? Let's get started, exclaimed Naruto. And I swear, Sasuke, I'll beat you, thought Naruto. He doesn't like that Sasuke left the village to join Orochimaru, but that doesn't mean he's going to sit back and let Orochimaru continue to destroy any more lives. Jiraiya grins at Naruto. He may have not given up on saving Sasuke, but at least he's learning. Maybe one day he'll see Sasuke isn't worth it. After all, Gaara and Naruto are more alike than Sasuke and Naruto. Then again, he always had a feeling Sasuke wasn't that loyal of a ninja. Temari's eyes widened. That on his reminded her when he and Gaara fought. It was the same expression he had when he saved her from her brother. Her eyes then widened as she notices her cheeks turning a cherry red. Wait. Am I blushing? Thought Temari in shock. She then mentally shook her head at the thought of Naruto making her blush. Jiraiya grins at Naruto. Good, time to take off the kid gloves. Your training starts now, and trusts me, you'll hate me by the end of the day, said Jiraiya. Naruto grins at the white-haired man. Just try me, pervy sage. I ain't scared, exclaimed Naruto, pointing his finger at Jiraiya. Jiraiya's eyebrow twitches at Naruto's nickname for him. Okay, if this brat wants to taken seriously, he'll need some manners, thought Jiraiya. His eyes then turns towards Temari. Maybe with her here he'll get smarter, thought Jiraiya. He then digs into his sleeves and takes out a blank scroll. The two blonde children watch as a cloud envelopes the scroll. As the cloud vanishes, they four black warmers, black beads necklace, a black rope which resembles the belt worn by the Sound 4, here catch, said Jiraiya. But as the new training gear touches Naruto, he is thrown to the floor. Jiraiya then laughs his ass off. Minato had the same reaction. Ahaha, each of their weight is about 50 pounds. Laughed the Sannin. Temari's eyes widened in surprise. She watches as Naruto puts on the training gear and struggles to stand up. Naruto gains a strained grin. This is nothing," said Naruto. Jiraiya stares in amusement as he watches Naruto's body tremble. "I'm glad to hear that," said Jiraiya as the Sannin makes the tiger hand sign. A dark blue sealing formula appears all around the new training gear. Naruto then plummets to ground. The small child lets out a loud groan as struggles to get to his feet. "Did I forget to mention once the seals on the training gear adds another 40 pounds of weight," said Jiraiya with a smirk. Both Temari's and Naruto's eyes went wide with shock and horror. "What? Are insane, / are you nuts, pervy sage?" exclaimed two blonde teens. Jiraiya simply shrugged his shoulders. "If that's you feel, Naruto can always give up," said the Sannin with a cheeky grin. As if magic, Naruto found the energy to raise his feet and begins to run for warm-ups. "Do a 20 miles jog around the village," yelled Jiraiya. The Sannin ignore the angry shout of the Jinchuriki. Temari stares at Jiraiya with a deadpan expression. "You're a real slave driver, aren't you?" asked Temari. Jiraiya snickers at her. "Guilty as charged," said Jiraiya in a cheeky tone. "But what I'm doing is no different from how I train my own team and those other kids. Naruto must be strong not just for himself but for the world as a whole. Naruto not only needs to know to master his Bijuu's chakra but needs to be a capable ninja who doesn't rely on Kyuubi's chakra. There's but doubt about it. I have to train him harder with Itachi and Kisame out there. He needs to be able to handle those too," thought Jiraiya. He knew from his spy network had told him Itachi and Kisame were assigned to capture Naruto while Sasori and Deidara was assigned to capture Gaara. Jiraiya then turns towards Temari, who raised an eyebrow. "What?" asked Temari. "Get moving," exclaimed Jiraiya, who makes a moving along hand motion. Temari stares at him with a look of shock. "What? I am training both of you. If the brat runs, so do you," exclaimed Jiraiya. Unlike Naruto, who openly complained, Temari just sighs. Jiraiya then hands her similar training gear. He watches as the two blondes run. He wasn't surprised that Temari had little trouble putting the gear on, mostly due to her years training with her large fan. After many hours of various of what Jiraiya would call light training, the two blondes collapse to the ground. The white-haired man laughs at the two who had glared at him. Now that the warms-ups are over, the real training could begin. He ignores the groans of protest. "Rest is over," said Jiraiya. He then creates a single clone and turns towards Temari. "My clone will help with your taijutsu while I'll help the brat," said Jiraiya. He and Naruto walk towards it, clearly with Naruto struggling to each step. It felt like his very bones were going to give up on him. He couldn't help but wonder, is this how the old man trained pervy sage, Tsunade Bakon, and Orochimaru? While Jiraiya was teaching Naruto Hanzo's taijutsu style, the red prey step, Akanori no Ken, while the clone was teaching Temari the willow fist, Yanagi Ken. "Now brat, let's get started," said Jiraiya. Naruto grins at his sensei. "Right, let's get started," exclaimed a grinning Naruto. "Great to hear. Now relax your body, you are too stiff," said Jiraiya, hitting his apprentice on the head, causing the blonde to hit the ground. Naruto groans in annoyance. The blonde struggles to rise to his feet, gritting teeth in frustration, but he knew Sasuke must be doing something to this. His body burns, every muscle begging him to stop, but Naruto won't stop. He needed to be strong. He needed to bring back Sasuke. Seeing Naruto back on his feet brought a smile on his aged face. "Not going to give up?" asked Jiraiya. Naruto grins at Jiraiya. For a short second he saw the image of Minato and Yahiko. Jiraiya quickly shook the head of the thought. It was no time to think about such things. He's short on time thanks to Orochimaru and the Akatsuki. Fortunately, he's dealing with an Uzumaki and a member of the Kazekage clan. "Since we only have 3 years, we're going to have to speed up the process," states Jiraiya. He then creates 5 clones. "All right, brat, I want you to make 20 clones," ordered Jiraiya. He quickly makes 3 clones. Before Naruto can question him on his training, he feels a drop of blood across his cheek. "What the hell, Rasengan?" exclaimed Naruto, who responded very dramatically in waving his hands the air in a very hyper manner while stomping his foot on the ground in a childlike manner. The Toad Age then threw another shuriken, cutting Naruto's, causing boy to lose his balance. "Damn it, Kakashi. You've really fucked up," thought Jiraiya. The sage sighs at this. "If you can't avoid my weapons, then how you gonna be able to dodge from Sasuke and Itachi? What we need to do first, increase your reflexes and strength, then we can start training you how to use the taijutsu," said Jiraiya. He and his clones continue to throw kunai and shuriken at Naruto and his own clones, but being knucklehead that he is, Naruto had to replace his clones every 3 minutes or so. But as he was dodging the sharp weapons he couldn't help but think about the wave mission. He knew when he fought him he was unmatched. Hell, even when Sasuke's Sharingan had awoken it was still an unmatched fight. Until used Kyuubi's chakra. Just like at the Valley of the End he lost control, but unlike with Haku, he lost and nearly lost his life. Waiite! Roared Naruto. Jiraiya accidentally throws a kunai at Naruto's shoulder. Naruto stares the kunai, then turns towards Jiraiya staring at him. After 3 minutes of silence he with anger, "You bastard! You stabbed me, you ass!" exclaimed Naruto, glaring his sensei. Temari groans in pain as the clone sent her on her ass. Her eyebrow twitches as the clone stares at her with a smug look. She then sighs as she hears the yelling of her new teammate and sensei. "What the hell is wrong with those two?" wondered Temari. "It's not my fault, brat. Why'd you scream?" yelled Jiraiya in annoyance. Naruto removes the kunai from his shoulder and grunts as he removes the blade. He then tosses the bloody kunai that drops it to the floor. He then turns towards Jiraiya with a confused expression. "I just remember something," exclaimed Naruto. He then pointed at Jiraiya, causing the man to raise an eyebrow at his apprentice. "You said Temari joining us was a political mission," yelled Naruto. "Took the brat long enough to realize it," thought Jiraiya. He then gains a serious look. "This was made by Tsunade and the Council of Tsunade. This mission was made to show both villages still had strong ties with each other. Orochimaru had really screwed Konoha and Suna over with this war. Both were hit hard because of the war. Both villages are on the edge, but with your friendship with Gaara does make things easier, but only by a little bit," said Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes widen. "Wait, then that means both villages are still at odds," exclaimed Naruto. He remembers when Gaara had seen him in the hospital. All nurses and doctors had glared at him and his siblings. The look they sent them was the same when the older generation would glare at him. It was the same look they would give me, thought Naruto. "We need to build our trust with each other. That is the reason why Temari is here. This is also considered a B-rank mission. I not only have to train her, but we can't allow anything to happen to her. She is from the Kazekage clan," said Jiraiya. Naruto gulped very loudly. He knew if something were to happen to her Gaara would kill him. Plus he found Baki scary, way scarier. Thank Anko. A cold shiver went down his spine at the thought of the purple-haired woman. Jiraiya snickers at Naruto's scared face. Must be thinking of Baki. Well, he is strong and capable, Jounin, thought Jiraiya. He then gains a sly grin. "Then you'll just have to protect her," said Jiraiya. "Yeah. I'll protect Temari no matter what," exclaimed Naruto as he slowly realizes what he said. His tan skin then turns a deep crimson color. I didn't it mean it like that," said an embarrassed Naruto. "Sure you didn't," said Jiraiya, winking at Naruto, who turns head to the side in embarrassment. "But he didn't mean it like that. He didn't like Temari. That he likes his pink net teammate, not the sand kunoichi, but he does have a little crush on Koyuki. But his heart belonged to Sakura, and maybe when he comes back he'll take her on a date." "Alright, lover boy, let's get back to training," mocked Jiraiya before Naruto could even yell at his sensei. Jiraiya throws a shuriken. A cloud of smoke covers the small weapon. As the smoke vanishes, a large shuriken is thrown at him, making Naruto open his eyes in shock. He leans back a little too far. He then cursed as he lost his footing. With a loud thud, Naruto lands on his ass. He then groans at the soreness he felt. What you doing? I didn't say you can rest," yelled Jiraiya. "Screw you, perv," roared Naruto in annoyance. His back and ass hurt, of course. The Toad Sage didn't allow Naruto to simply lay on the floor. He continued their training with him, throwing a kunai at the fallen Uzumaki. For the fur of the day, Jiraiya had spent the day training Temari and Naruto in taijutsu. They didn't return back to their room until 9. Once they return, an exhausted Temari makes it to the couch and crashes. The only thing coming from the blonde teenager is her soft breathing. As for Naruto, he had crashed to the floor, not even caring about a blanket or pillow. Jiraiya gives him a few love taps. Naruto just growls at Jiraiya, not wanting to deal with the man, but the Toad Sage had other plans. He then drops a book on Naruto's face, who grunts in pain. Naruto lets out a low groan, ignoring the snickering coming from his sensei. He lazily removes the book from his face. As he flips the book to the cover, he stares at the title, Poisons of a Shinobi by Hanzo. "For the rest of the night you will be a task with reading the first chapter," ordered Jiraiya. Naruto's blue eyes stare into Jiraiya's with shock and horror. What? You're yelped Naruto. He rubs the back of his head as Temari had thrown one of the weights at him. He turns and sees her tired teal yet angry eyes glaring at him. He shivers in fear. Shut up, growled Temari. Yes, ma'am, said Naruto in low tone. Seeing her threat had gotten across with her fellow blonde, she quickly goes back to sleep. Jiraiya smirks at Naruto and walks towards his room, leaving the child to his own devices. Naruto quickly glances at the slumbering Temari. He then released a gulp. Temari is definitely scarier than Sakura-chan. It's best not to make her mad or she'll hit me with that fan, thought Naruto. He then begins opening the book, starts reading. Still fixated on that teammate of yours? You truly are a fool, Naruto, said Kyuubi in an insulting tone. Naruto narrowed his eyes, not pleased to be hearing the fox's dark voice. What would you know? You dumb fox, thought Naruto. From the large cage that seems to be filled with nothing but darkness, the red eyes and canine jaws grins within the cage. I know far more than you, boy. My last container was far smarter than you. She had some talent, said Kyuubi. Naruto's eyes widen. Shock. What? Muttered Naruto. Oops, wasn't supposed to say that, said Kyuubi. His grin widened, taking joy at Naruto's confusion. Just because he's imprisoned doesn't mean he can't have fun. Naruto was lost for words. He always remembers people saying Kyuubi had attacked Konoha, but if what the fox is saying true, then someone had to break the seal for Kyuubi to be freed. WWH, who WW was she? Asked Naruto in a nervous and almost scared tone. Kyuubi lets out a few chuckles, sending shivers down his spine. Isn't it an obvious, boy? It's your mother, of course. Ahaha, how sad, she gave her life up, but you don't even know what the bitch looks like or her name. Laughed Kyuubi. Wait. What's her name? Asked Naruto, but Kyuubi never responds. After more attempts which had no results, Naruto looks down his hands in sadness, not even caring as his eyes cry in pain, frustration, and anger. He was sure Jiraiya knew who his mom was, but he was uncertain if the pervert would tell him. With his emotions at a high level, he stares down at the book. He sighs, knowing he won't be sleeping anytime soon. As he reads the book, he is plagued. What he said he had also kept reading till 2 and finally falls asleep. One would think after a tiring and taxing day they would peaceful dreams, but unfortunately, that's not the case with Naruto, whose dreams were filled with his first encounters with Zabuza, Orochimaru, and Itachi. 2 hours later, both Naruto and Temari are awakened by Jiraiya's loud voice. Temari groans in her sleep, muttering curses and swears at the kabuki-themed shinobi. Naruto simply lets out a loud groan. Jiraiya whistles at Naruto, noticing he had read 2 chapters. This caused the Sannin to grin. No time for rest. Time to start today with morning training, yelled Jiraiya as he dragged the 2 half-asleep teens outside. He grins at their tired expression. It had reminded him of himself when he was a genin, back when he and Orochimaru were best friends. He then shakes himself from thinking about the past. It was no time thinking about that after all. He spent too much time thinking the what-ifs. If he truly wanted to honor those who have passed, then he must train the new generation and make sure they don't make the same mistakes. He then turns towards Temari. I hope you're ready for today's training. I'm sure you'll love it, exclaimed Jiraiya. Or hate you, muttered Temari. Jiraiya then throws a scroll at Temari, who catches it. She then gives him a questionable stare. He just smirks at her. She pours chakra into. She is left surprised as the scroll contains 2 small black iron fans. Each fan has an image of a golden moon. She then slowly looks up Jiraiya, who has a confident yet cocky grin. A special gift from your council. If you look closer, there's something written, said Jiraiya. She struggles to raise the fans due to their height. As she takes a closer look, she sees something written on the blades. Is just like the wind, it flows freely like the summer leaf. She smiles at it. Baki-sensei, said Temari in a soft tone. A smile appears on her face. Naruto's cheeks turn a light pink hue due to never hearing the female Suna Kunoichi speaking in a tone like that. Cute, thought Naruto as he stares at her smile. As you can see, each ate about 95 pounds each, said Jiraiya. Naruto turns, looks at Temari. He also notices her arms are trembling. For today's training session you'll be sparring against each other, said Jiraiya. Wait, does that mean I'll be using the Kusarigama? Asked Naruto. A strong force hits him in the back of the head, spending him face first with the ground. Naruto can already feel lump his head. You idiot, that thing is poisonous, screamed Temari, glaring at him. I would never hurt you, Temari-chan, exclaimed Naruto. With his blue eyes staring into her own, she then away from him, hoping he doesn't see her cherry red blush. Tsk, whatever, muttered Temari. Naruto then rubs the back of his head. He then turns towards Jiraiya with a confused expression. Then what am I supposed to, you my kunai? Exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya simply shook his head negatively and throws him a scroll with the Sarutobi clan symbol. Naruto shot the Sannin with a confused look. It's a gift from Sarutobi-sensei, said Jiraiya, shocking the blonde duo. Naruto pours chakra into the scroll. A Jien sword has summoned. The sheath of the sword is gray-black in color. The sheath itself is made from a tree. The handle is gray-black with having the pattern of an oak tree. The crossguard is the shape of a curved V, which is gold and was 3 red ruby jewels embedded in it. The pommel is solid gold and takes the shape of a turtle's shell. Attached to the pommel is a black iron chain and the blade is pitch black. The middle of the blade is coated in solid gold. It's called the sword of Gojin. Sensei was going to give it to you after the Chunin exam, said Jiraiya, shocking Naruto and Temari. The blade itself was crafted with chakra metal and adamantine, while the handle and sheath are made from the Shodame's Mokutan, said Jiraiya. Naruto stares at the sword in awe. For now, you'll be using that sword until you master the Kusarigama, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto simply stares Jiraiya with a blank face. She struggles to raise the fans due to their height. As she takes a closer look, she sees something written on the blades. Is just like the wind, it flows freely like the summer leaf. She smiles at it. Baki-sensei, said Temari in a soft tone. A smile appears on her face. Naruto's cheeks turn a light pink hue due to never hearing the female Suna Kunoichi speaking in a tone like that. Cute, thought Naruto as he stares at her smile. As you can see, each ate about 95 pounds each, said Jiraiya. Naruto turns, looks at Temari. He also notices her arms are trembling. For today's training session you'll be sparring against each other, said Jiraiya. Wait, does that mean I'll be using the Kusarigama? Asked Naruto. A strong force hits him in the back of the head, spending him face first with the ground. Naruto can already feel a lump his head. You idiot, that thing is poisonous, screamed Temari, glaring at him. I would never hurt you, Temari-chan, exclaimed Naruto. With his blue eyes staring into her own, she then away from him, hoping he doesn't see her cherry red blush. Tsk, whatever, muttered Temari. Naruto then rubs the back of his head. He then turns towards Jiraiya with a confused expression. Then what am I supposed to, you my kunai? Exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya simply shook his head negatively and throws him a scroll with the Sarutobi clan symbol. Naruto shot the Sannin with a confused look. It's a gift from Sarutobi-sensei, said Jiraiya, shocking the blonde duo. Naruto pours chakra into the scroll. A Jien sword has summoned. The sheath of the sword is gray-black in color. The sheath itself is made from a tree. The handle is gray-black with having the pattern of an oak tree. The crossguard is the shape of a curved V, which is gold and was 3 red ruby jewels embedded in it. The pommel is solid gold and takes the shape of a turtle's shell. Attached to the pommel is a black iron chain and the blade is pitch black. The middle of the blade is coated in solid gold. It's called the sword of Gojin. Sensei was going to give it to you after the Chunin exam, said Jiraiya, shocking Naruto and Temari. The blade itself was crafted with chakra metal and adamantine, while the handle and sheath are made from the Shodame's Mokutan, said Jiraiya. Naruto stares at the sword in awe. For now, you'll be using that sword until you master the Kusarigama, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto simply stares Jiraiya with a blank face. Recap end. Temari smirks at Naruto, who's flat on his ass with some cut wounds. Temari had her fair cuts on her. I'm impressed, Naruto, you have improved a lot faster than I thought. Maybe there's hope for you after all. Gaki grins Jiraiya with pride and amusement. He figured the blonde probably got his talent from his mother. Besides being the Jinchuriki of Kitsune no Kyuubi and a Fuinjutsu master, she was also a gifted Kenjutsu. Naruto grins at the white-haired man. Then hey, screw you, old geezer, exclaimed Naruto, glaring at the sage. Temari sighs at the two. Are all Konoha ninjas like this? Thought Temari as she remembers her interactions with another genin like Shikamaru, who became a chunin just like her, but I guess she'd rather deal with the loudmouth idiot, that lazy bastard. Temari then whacks him in the back of the head, but not hard, just enough to make him stop arguing with their sensei. Aren't you a ninja? Asked Temari with a raised eyebrow. He stares at his fellow blonde with confusion. What the hell did she mean? Of course he's a ninja. His first real mission turned C rank to A rank. He survived against Orochimaru twice, met the infamous Itachi and Kisame. Hell, he fought and beat Neji and Gaara, two people who are far better than him. But here Temari is asking him that question. Of course I am. Yells Naruto. How can this woman say that he's training to bring back Sasuke? Temari's teal eyes glare at him. Then act like it. Stop acting, you're a kid. Yells a frustrated Temari. She just couldn't believe it. Here she is with Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who beat her brother, is being trained by Jiraiya, and he's acting like a child. She then roughly grabs onto his headband and roughly shakes him. This headband symbolizes you. Naruto is a soldier of the village. You have a responsibility. You can say how you're going to bring back your traitorous friend all you want. I don't care. I care about the S-rank ninjas after my little brother. In the eyes of your village, you are no longer a child. How do you expect to be the Hokage when you're goofing off? Exclaims Temari, losing her patience with Naruto. She had thought after everything that happened he would learn from it, but no, he's acting like how he did during the beginning of the Chunin exams. Someone like Itachi Uchiha is hunting Gaara and you. They're hunting you. As if you were some animal to be mounted, and Naruto. Itachi is stronger than Orochimaru. Growls Temari. She just couldn't take it. She couldn't take how idiotic naive Naruto is. Damn it, how can this kid be so naive? What kind of things are they teaching in Konoha? Thought Temari. She couldn't help but wonder what their academy is doing, since they allow Sakura and Ino, two fangirls, be kunoichi. Those two are such an embarrassment. The only kunoichi from Konoha that actually cared about their ninja career was Hinata and Tenten. Naruto stares wide-eyed, never being told in such a manner. Sure, others have made it clear how much of an idiot he is. You think I can be the Hokage? Muttered Naruto in a solemn tone. Well, of course, I do. I saw how you fought my brother. You changed him. You brought my brother back. Mutters Temari, shocking Naruto. He had no clue he changed his red-haired friend. He also didn't know what Temari thought of him. Naruto could only count a few people who believe he can be Hokage, but here he has someone as strong as Temari saying she believes him. He doesn't even think his own teammates believe him, but here's someone who isn't from his village believes him and is scolding him. The young knucklehead ninja finds himself speechless. He bows his head in shame, catching Temari off guard. I am sorry, apologize Naruto. Temari crosses her arms. This isn't the time for a pity party. We're being trained by one of the Sannin, and he's the one who trained the Yondaime. I won't allow these people to hunt Gaara as if he was some wild beast that needed to be locked away, says Temari, gripping her fans tightly. So what are you going to do? Sit around goofing off while these people hunt others like you and my brother? Asked Temari in a serious tone. He shook his head. Negativity, no way. Says Naruto. Temari then softly sighs. Then take this seriously. If not for me, then for my brother. You are his best friend after all, says Temari, shocking Naruto. He had no idea what Gaara had thought of him, but deep down he knew she was right. Being a ninja wasn't he thought it would be, and the wave mission was his wake-up call to reality, and the fact he has someone like Itachi after him doesn't sit well for him. He then begins remembering looking at Sasuke's older brother. His eyes held no emotion. It spooked him, especially without how brutal he took Sasuke out. Then there was Kisame. He hates to admit, but he actually had a nightmare about the shark man. Naruto then bows his head down. I'm sorry, I'm just scared, said Naruto. She then sighs at this, not sure what to do in this type of situation. She awkwardly pats him on the shoulder, not really sure what to do. After all, her family wasn't known for group hugs, so she just pats him on the shoulder. After all, physical contact was still a foreign concept to the blondes. But as Blue and Teal meet, Naruto, not being one to ever think simple, blurted out the first thing that came to his ramen brain. Beautiful eyes. Blurted Naruto. Jiraiya then laughs at the two, who had an equal crimson blush. Naruto not sure what to do. Sure, he always called Sakura cute. He even thinks Koyuki is beautiful, but there's something about Temari. She's talented, she's very smart, and she's very mature for her age. There was also this exotic aura about her, maybe because she was from a whole other village and she was the strongest kunoichi in the Chunin exam. So Naruto does what many others have done, avoided contact and stare at their feet while having a mental debate. Temari's cheeks turn red. Stop trying to change the subject, thank you, says Temari, but she said the last part to herself. Jiraiya then laughs loudly, ruining the moment. After all, seeing their teen drama was funny. Temari's blush in then replaced with annoyance. She swung at her sensei, mailing him in the face. They watch as he bounces off the ground, causing Naruto to have a sweat drop. And you act your age, snarled Temari in annoyance. This pervert was her sensei and somehow trained a Kage. She wondered why all Konoha ninjas live so lay back. Jiraiya dusts himself off and grins. Okay, enough of your lover's spat. joked Jiraiya. The man enjoyed watching the two blondes turn a deep red. He couldn't help but chuckle, just like Kushina. Minato? Thought Jiraiya Naruto might be a hidden gem, but he was definitely his mother's son. His personality was so much like hers it was scary. We are not lovers, yelled the two. Naruto was really just thinking of summoning Gamabuta just to flatten the smirk off of Jiraiya's old wrinkling face. They both calmed down, seeing the serious expression on his face. Naruto, she's right, this is the real world, but this isn't the time for this. In 2 weeks we'll be going on our first A-rank mission, said Jiraiya, shocking the two. Our mission is to infiltrate one of Orochimaru's labs. This warehouse has many records of various things, from his time as a shinobi of the Leaf, to a root agent of Danzo, and to his time with the Akatsuki, says Jiraiya. Just as Naruto was about to ask about Sasuke, Jiraiya held his hand up, stopping him from speaking. No intel says the one at this hideout is a Kekii Genkai woman named Guren. She's one of his. Stop Jounin, leave her to me. You two will head to the below level where the documents are kept. You two will be facing Jounin and Chunin, you understand? Asked Jiraiya. Temari nods her head. Will be on our own, says Temari. Yes, this woman was once an ideal body, so he kept her because her usefulness, says Jiraiya. You think she might know where Orochimaru is? Asked Naruto. It's a possibility. Tsunade, trust us to complete this mission. Are you two ready? Asked Jiraiya. They nod their heads. Good, we don't have much time, but with clones anything is possible, says the man. For the next 2 weeks Jiraiya had increased their training. Naruto can now properly use the chain sickle with the help of Temari. She had taught him a few wind jutsu. Jiraiya had also taught him a few toad, earth, and water ninjutsu. The three stood at the secret entrance of the warehouse. You two know, remember your part, right? Asked Jiraiya. Put this question was more directed at Naruto. Naruto nods his head. Yeah, I remember. We gotta find the documents when you deal with the crystal lady, says Naruto. Jiraiya nods his head with a smile. From here on you two are on your own. Bed careful you two and watch each other's back, said Jiraiya. The two nods their head in agreement. Right, you count on me, I'll protect Temari, says Naruto, not even noticing Temari's rose-red cheeks. Yeah, what Naruto said, we won't fail you Jiraiya-sama, said Temari. The road sage grins at this. He then body flickers away. She then turns to Naruto. You ready? Asked Temari. Naruto's response was a cloud of smoke. Naruto now stood with his Kusarigama. She smirked at him, at which he flashes her with his fox-like grin. They then enter, and of course with Naruto's luck it is never easy. Standing in front of them are 4 men. Ah shit, groaned Naruto. The 4 men charged at them. Temari unleashes powerful wind blades with her 2 iron fans. Each men are then flung back, hitting the wall. You could even hear the sound of bones breaking as their bodies hit the wall. Naruto released an audible gulp. Man, I do not want to be on the retrieving side of those things, thought Naruto. Sure, Sakura scares him with her short temper, but Temari scares him even more. Plus she didn't even need to use her fist, just her fans. Come on, Naruto, we have a mission to complete, says Temari. Naruto dumbly nods head and follows her down a flight of stairs. From Jiraiya-sama had said these at least 3 more levels we have to go before we reach out destination, said Temari. Right, and we'll run into more of Orochimaru's henchmen, but I can't help but to wonder if he's here, wondered Naruto. Who? Sasuke? Asked Temari with a raised brow. Her fellow blonde shook his head negatively. No, Kabuto, Orochimaru's right hand, said Naruto. Kabuto? Umeya and the guy who took part in the war? Asked Temari. She never fearsome to him. The only thing she knew about him was he was a spy for Orochimaru and took part in the war. Yeah, he's strong. I fought him when Eki Sennin and I had to bring back Bachan, and he totally kicked my ass. He's as good as a medic as Bachan, but as ruthless as that snake bastard. Eki Sennin told me he's as strong as Kakashi-sensei, says Naruto. Temari's eyes looked on in shocked. Kakashi was Konoha's most talented and skilled shinobi, and for someone like Kabuto to be on even ground as Kakashi was scary. And how did you manage against him? Asked Temari. Sweat drop appeared in the side of his head. I had to let him stab my hand, then I used the Rasengan on him, says the blonde Uzumaki in a low tone. Temari stares at him with a blank look. Idiot, muttered Temari, but somehow this doesn't surprise her after all. She watched him fight and she knew he took unnecessary risk just to win a fight. Hopefully you won't have to do that again, says Temari. Yeah, you and me both, says Naruto. Fortunately, now that he managed to use the Rasengan with one hand, so getting stabbed wasn't really necessary. Boy, you aren't alone, says Kyuubi. Naruto then comes to stop looking around. Temari then turns to Naruto. What is it? Asked Temari. We aren't alone, says Naruto. The two blondes are then back to back looking at their surroundings. They even look above but didn't see anyone. Where are they? Asked Nero, but Kyuubi didn't respond, causing the blonde to growl in annoyance. Suddenly Naruto's gets punched in the face, making him land on his face. Temari swings her can but hits nothing. She then feels as someone kicked her knees, making her lose her balance. She then feels as someone kick her in the gut, sending her flying. Something then wraps her neck and hurls her at Naruto, who catches her sound cry. Oto no Sakibi! Exclaimed a man. A powerful sound blast knocked the two against the concrete door. The groan in pain really did. Konoha and Suna really send two stupid brats. Mocked the man. He then deactivated his jutsu, showing himself to the two young ninjas. He looked like any regular Oto shinobi, except the fingers on his left hand has sound devices similar to Zaku, and he wields a chain. Kunai. The man grins darkly at the two. The name's Ryoga. The last thing you stupid brats will ever see. Soul bullets, Tamashi no Dangon! Yells Ryoga. He extends his hand, firing sound bullets from his finger steps. Naruto quickly tackles Temari down, narrowly avoiding the sound bullets. The two look at the walls are 5 holes. Both narrowed their eyes at the man, just like that guy back at the Chunin exam, but with his fingers, thought Naruto. He then unleashes a volley of kunai at Ryoga, but the man skillfully blocked each one with his kunai. Naruto quickly goes through a few hand signs. He then claps his hands together. Wind release, aerial wall jutsu, futon, kuchu kabe no jutsu! Yelled the two blondes. Naruto released a powerful blast of wind from his lungs, while she released the same blast from her two fans. Bleeding Ragnarok technique, Ragnarokku Shiketsu no Jutsu! Says Ryoga. A powerful sound beam. Both sound and wind collide, shaking the very foundation of the building. Even the walls themselves begun to crack under pressure. Naruto then throws a flash bomb, blinding him. Naruto then creates 2 clones. Each of them throws a exploding tag. Temari unleashes a gust of wind, increasing the blast even more, burning the man. Ryoga snarls at the two. He then grins at them. He then uses the snake, boar, rat, and tiger seals hiding chameleon technique, Chameleon o Kakusu no Jutsu. Says Ryoga. He then turns invisible. He then charges at the two. Knocking Temari to the side. He then knees Naruto in the gut, then uppercut him. He then grabs Naruto by his jumpsuit. He then punched him the gut, knocking the wind out of him. This blow had sent the blonde flying. Naruto then screams in pain as the kunai stabs him in the gut. You're done for, brat! Says Ryoga. You can even hear the smugness in his voice. He then yanks the kunai back, wrapping his hand around Naruto's throat. Sound technique, Demon Knight, Oto Jutsu, Oni no Yuta! Whispered Ryoga. Naruto then released a silent scream as his eardrums are assaulted by a powerful sound blast. His ears and nose begin to bleed. Get your damn hands off him! Twin Whirlwind, Futego no Senpu! Yells an enraged Temari. She unleashes a powerful blast of wind, knocking him away from Naruto. Her teal eyes glare hardly at the invisible man. I don't know where he is, but with this it shouldn't matter. Wind release, Blades of Spirit technique, Futon, Seishin no Hajutsu! Yells Temari. She unleashes a volley of wind blades. Ryoga tries his best to deflect them, but he isn't able to deflect all of them. He snarls as his cuts appear on him. With him taking that much damage, his chameleon jutsu deactivated. He glared at her, seeing blood dripping from his body. You damn bitch, you'll pay for that, slicing serpent, Hibi o Suresu Suru! Says Ryoga. He then twirls the blade, slicing the roof. He then grins and attacking her with sound blades. She released a scream in pain as the sound-based blades cut into her. He then blasts her with a sound blast that throws her to the ground. He then grins at the two children. He then walks to the down Temari and glared at her. I really hate kids, says Ryoga. He then picks her up by her. He then wraps his chain kunai around her neck. She punched him in the face, but it doesn't even seem to faze him. You were foolish to think you can beat me. You will die like fools, grinned Ryoga as he tightened the chain. Temari's eyes begun to water. Naruto looks up, seeing Ryoga strange. Temari, stop it, let her go! Yells Naruto. Ryoga grins at the down Naruto. No, I don't think so. I think after I kill the bitch I'll have some fun with her. Grins Ryoga darkly with a perverted look in his eyes. Temari looked at him with fear. The man then grabs her by breast, roughly cackling darkly. This angered Naruto even more. A red cloak then begins to cover him. Sensing the foul chakra, he turns and sees Naruto entering his failed Kyuubi cloak. Naruto grits his teeth in raw, unadulterated anger. You bastard! Let Temari-chan go! roared Naruto. He then charges at Ryoga with blinding speed. The man then coughs out blood and drops Temari, who begins to cough. The Oto shinobi looks down, noticing he's been cut. Damn it, poison, mutters Ryoga. He then falls face down, throwing up blood. The bijou cloak vanishes and Naruto falls to his knees and stares at his hands in shock. Oh my god, I killed him, but he was evil and he was gonna Tema. Groaned Naruto as he was tackled by a yellow blur. He soon finds himself smothered by a hugging Temari. She keeps muttering thank you. She then surprised herself and himself by kissing him on his cheek. Both blondes blush crimson red. Realizing what she just did, she jumps away, looking away and failing to hide her deep red blush. Right, thank you again for, saving me, Naruto, says a blushing Temari who twirls one of her pigtails. Naruto, who also blushing, rubs the back of his head. It was no problem, Temari-chan, I'll always protect you, says a blushing Naruto. With that being said, Temari's face matches the same color of her brother's hair. Temari could have her heart stopped a full beat. Cough cough, you stupid kids, groaned Ryoga. He slowly rises to his feet, glaring at the blonde duo. He then digs into his pocket, pulling out with a syringe that contains purple liquid. With this I'll make you and your Suna whore, smirked Ryoga. He then coughs up blood and grins darkly at the two who glare at him. Kukuku, after I killed you I'll torture that sand whore. Kukuku, just thinking about is exhilarating, grins Ryoga in a perverted manner. Just before he injects the syringe into his neck, Naruto's Kusarigama cuts off his hand. While this happened in a split second, but for the Oto shinobi it happened in slow motion. He stares at his now missing hand in shock. Temari throws one of her fans at Ryoga. The fan pierced Ryoga in the throat. The man collapsed to the ground, choking on his own blood. Jiraiya vs. Guren. Guren grins at the Toad Sage as his kunai clashes with her crystal blade. The aged shinobi grits his teeth in annoyance as the kunai begins to crystallize. He quickly throws the weapon to the side. Orochimaru may be a bastard, but he sure knows how to pick his soldiers, thought Jiraiya. Weapons seems useless against her and some element ninjutsu. After all, he just witnessed her turning his mud dragon into a crystallized snake. I have to say I'm impressed. I've seen my share of unique Kekii Genkai, but I've never seen a crystal user before. You could become a great kunoichi for the village, says Jiraiya with a smirk. And coming from a Sannin, that means a lot, but flattery won't help you, says Guren. She slashed at him. Jiraiya ducks down and open palms her in the stomach. She then hurls crystallized shuriken. Jiraiya takes a sealing paper and watches as the weapons get sealed away. His hair hardened. He then unleashes his needle hair sunban at the woman. She quickly summons a crystal shield. She narrowed her eyes as the crystal slowly begins to crack. If earth release ninjutsu won't work, then maybe this will work, thought Jiraiya. He quickly makes a clone and releases his fire release. Toad oil flame bullet, katan, gameu enden. Guren grits her teeth as more cracks from around the shield. She then goes through the hand signs of bird, ox, horse, snake, boar, and his crystal release, crushing Jade Hunter, Shotan, Hijui Hanta o Funsai, says Guren. A crystallized wolf merges from the shield and meets his flame jutsu head on. A huge explosion occurs, blocking their vision, causes Guren to narrow her eyes. Jiraiya grins at this summoning. Toad mouth bind, Kuchios, Gamaguchi Shirbari. It's over now, there's no escape, says Jiraiya. The stomach then begins to bind the woman. No matter how much she struggles, she then uses her crystal release. It soon begins crystallized the inside of the road, but Jiraiya charges at her with a Rasengan, ramming it into her, but instead of blowing her back, she then shatters in jade crystals. A clone, mutters Jiraiya. He watches as the crystal clone begins to laugh in a mocking manner. Sorry to disappoint you, Sannin, but I have no interest in getting captured, but don't worry, I'm sure we'll meet again someday, says the clone. She then shatters into pieces. Jiraiya glares at the shattered crystals. Jiraiya growls in frustration. Ugh, well that's not a good sign and Haim-chan won't likes. Hopefully, the brats have better luck than I do, says Jiraiya as he rubs the back of his head with a sigh. Sometime later, Jiraiya meets up with his students, finds himself surprised not just because they found the document but the shape his students are in. I take it you hit a few bumps too? Asked the aged man. The two their head agreement. Yeah, that's the understatement of the year, thought Temari. She turns to Naruto, who dogs into his jumpsuit, taking out a syringe. Their sensei raised an eyebrow at this. A jounin we fought was about to inject himself before, Temari-chan, and I took the bastard out, says Naruto with a wide grins on his face. The fan user's cheeks becomes pink thanks to Naruto's praise. Jiraiya grins at this and have his students with a smug smirk. He snickers at the two. Ooh, is it Temari-chan now, eh? You sure move fast, brat, giggled Jiraiya in a perverted manner. He could already smell inspiration for his novel. Whatever thoughts for his smut novel were banished as Jiraiya is hit by Temari's and Naruto's weapon. Get your head of the gutter / quit being a perv, yelled the two, glaring at him, daring the seasoned ninja to continue with his perverted ways. Especially after dealing with Ryoga, neither of the two were in no mood to deal with their sensei's usual perverted ways. Anyways, when Naruto used his Kusarigama and the enemy went down, we thought we was down, but he had another surprise. But he got full of himself, allowing Naruto to cut his hand off and myself to finish the job. But he believed whatever was in it will give him a complete edge over us, says Temari. It didn't take a genius to realize something else had happened. Jiraiya knew this wasn't the place, not time to ask. But it seemed whatever they want to not only forced Naruto to take his first kill after all the poison covering the Kusarigama is highly poisonous, but it seemed whatever the two went through had also brought them closer together. While teasing the two does sound like fun, they were still on a mission. Oh, well, I'll just find out what happened later, thought Jiraiya. He then summons a small toad and husbands him the documents and the syringe. Give these to Haim-chan, ordered the Sannin. The small toads nods his head and shots a curious gaze at the syringe. The kids retrieved it from the enemy. Might be some kind of drug, says Jiraiya. When dealing with Orochimaru, you never what you're truly dealing with. Sure thing, Jiraiya, says the small toad. It soon vanished in a puff of smoke. Now let's get you two matched up. After all, not everyone can heal fast, said Jiraiya, but this was more directed to Naruto. 2 days later, Temari lowers her fans as Naruto lower his on the desert. Kunoichi turns to Jiraiya, who's writing in a small notebook but doesn't like the one he uses for his Ika series. Have you got a message from my village? Asked Temari. From those 2 days they had already got pay and a congratulations from Konoha, but she hasn't heard back from her home. Not yet, but I should be expecting a message from them any day now, says Jiraiya. He watches as she smiles at this, no doubt missing her brothers. Sure, her Kankuro weren't close to Gaara because of his former psychotic persona, but even back then she loves her brother. Get Eki Sennin, remember when you and Toad Boss you used that big fire jutsu? Asked Naruto. Jiraiya knew which jutsu he was talking about. I was thinking of doing that, but with a poison fog, says Naruto. Jiraiya grins at this while Temari looks unimpressed. That's not a bad idea, kid. I was waiting till much later, but no time like the present, says his. He then turns to the female blonde. And you'll also be doing cooperation ninjutsu. We can work with both Toads and Weasel, says Jiraiya, causing both to smile. But first I watched to teach you a seal, says Jiraiya. Really, what kind of seal? Asked Naruto. The fire sealing method, Fuka Hoin. It's a seal that allows you to deal away any fire ninjutsu, even Itachi's Amaterasu, said Jiraiya. Amaterasu? What's that? Asked Naruto. It's the next step of the Manjikyu Sharingan. The only way to achieve it is to kill yourself, best friend or a family member dying, says Jiraiya. Temari looks on in disgust while Naruto doesn't look too happy either. In exchange of such committed also said person eyes to evolve every Uchiha who'd unlocked their own unique ability. Shursui Itachi's best friend can use Koto Amatsukami is a dojutsu that casts a powerful yet subtle mind-controlling genjutsu on the target. The ninjutsu is so powerful you wouldn't even know it or aware you are being controlled. Would you believe each action you took was of your own choosing, says Jiraiya. It was safe to say neither then wanted to go up against someone like Shursui. Itachi's Manjikyu have gave him the Tsukuyomi. It traps them in an illusion of his design, through his unprecedented ability to alter target's perception of time. He uses Tsukuyomi to subject victims to days' worth of torture in a matter of seconds, and it gave him the Amaterasu, a technique that allows him to command black flames once created. The flames will not stop burning until their target is completely incinerated. The flames cannot be extinguished with water, the passage of time or any other normal methods. Only the user can put the flames out, explained Jiraiya. Which is why it's important you to learn the Fuka Hoin. When we meet up with Itachi and his blue friend you'll have a way to deal with Amaterasu. Now watch carefully, I'm going to show you the hand signs, says Jiraiya. He uses the hand signs of rat, bird, technique-specific seal, tiger. He then begins to show them the sealing formula. He watches as both write the sealing formula and activate the scroll. He then fires a lower-level fire jutsu and watches as both scrolls seal away the small flames. Naruto with a huge grin jumps around in excitement while Temari smiles to herself at learning something new. Now I'll be back. I need to head back to Mount Myaboku, to see if they have any toads that specialize in poison. Use this time to relax and take a break, you two need it, says Jiraiya. He then reversed summoned himself, heading back to the home of the toads. Temari turns and sees Naruto reading the Fuinjutsu book and chuckles at this, even giving time to relax. The blonde still trying to improve himself. Naruto, I know we never talked about it, but seeing as we're alone I think it's important we have to discuss something, says Temari. Naruto quickly becomes stiff and his went wide. Crap. That's right in front of her, thought a frantic Naruto. He then blushes remembering the hug and kiss. It was the rare for him getting a hug from a girl and kiss. Well, he got a kiss from the Snow Demio Koyuki, but he was unconscious, and the only type of affection he received from a girl his age is Sakura's fist. It also helped that Temari was far more cute than Sakura. Seeing he was still paying attention to her, she continues on, so that red chakra was Kyuubi's, right? Asked Temari. He just nods his head. Can you control it? Asked Temari. I've only went up to 2 tails so far. I'm still in control, says Naruto. She smiles at this. Well, I'm happy you'd use it, says the female blonde. Really you are? Asked a shocked Naruto. She nods her head and smiles at the Uzumaki and places his hand on her shoulder. Well, yeah, if you hadn't I'd rather not think about I'm not used to saying this, but thank you Naruto-kun, says a blushing Temari. Naruto cheeks become a deep scarlet. Cute, blurted Naruto. Temari blushes. She then gains a nervous smile and mutters a thank you. I'm just happy you're safe, Temari-chan. I won't let anything to my precious people, says Naruto. She smiles even brighter at this. Why you think I'm precious? Asked Temari. He flashed her one of his famous grins. Sure, of course. I wouldn't ask for another partner. I mean, you're so cool, amazing, and smart. You're defiantly the coolest girl I've met. You're even more cuter than Sakura and Ino, exclaimed Naruto. Feeling the effect of the infamous Uzumaki grin made the sand kunoichi heart skip a few beats. Sure, many people have commented her skills, but no boy had ever commented on her looks. She leans in and kissed his whiskered cheek. That's for saving myself and for saving my brother. Just so you know, that Sakura girl is an idiot for chasing Sasuke, says Temari, leaving Naruto frozen, and no doubt his own heartbeat skip a few beats. He even forgot to breathe for a few seconds. The two smile at each other. The two quickly jump back as Jiraiya had returned with another toad. He looks at the two, noticing Naruto is a blushing mess while Temari tries to put on a strong face. These brats are gold. Ahaha, the next Ika Ika series will write itself thanks to these two brats, thought Jiraiya. This is Gamakaso, the son of Fukasaku and Shima. You meet him, his parents, later. He specializes in poison. His poison ninjutsu is considered the best, says Naruto. Gamakaso, his size is comparable to that of a human's, though he is noted to being slightly bigger than the average male. His skin color is mahogany brown, an effect transcribed through the combination of his mother's purple skin color and his father's green skin color respectively. Unlike Fukasaku, however, he does not possess any noticeable facial hair. His eyes also bear striking resemblance to his father's, bright yellow in color with a noticeable black rectangular shape swimming in the center, a trait that displays his mastery over the element of senjutsu. He also coats his lips in a thick coating of lipstick, utilizing the dark purple shade of his mother, Shima. He wears an elongated black cloaks that extend past the wearer's own knees. Beneath the dark cloak lies Gamakaso's true attire, comprised of a black kimono and complete with a pair of noble shinobi sandals. A white obi sash is tied around his waist, holding together his set of stone katana. The large road bows at Naruto. It is an honor to meet you, Naruto-san, says Gamakaso.